2014 KettleersLive baseball hits the air in 3,
2, 1.
Norwood, a shot to left. Warren goes back. It's out of here. He knew it from the crack of the bat. We're tied at 2. 0-1, a 2-2 tie. Wiseman's at third. 0-1 pitch. A long shot to right. It's way back. Get out of here. Home run. Brendan Hendricks, a 3-run bomb. Kettleers lead 5-2.
2014 KettleersLive baseball lives here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Now, with the Kettleers warm-up, here's Brendan Glasheen.
The deciding game of the 2014 Barnstable Patriot Cup. Happy 375th anniversary to the town of Barnstable as the Hyannis Harbor Hawks and Cotuit Kettleers square off for the final time this season. Cotuit needs a win to even the season series at 3 games apiece. Greg Moraz and Brendan Glasheen here at Lowell Park for the final time. We see Hyannis and Cotuit, and Greg, last night's ball game was a wild one. 22 combined runs between the Kettleers and Harbor Hawks, 9 unearned runs in that contest. The bats were going on both ends. Jackson Glines came up with the clutch 2 RBI single in the 9th. Tons of offense. I don't know if it's going to carry over into today.
Well, I think the key that is critical is against a guy like Blake Hickman, who had been scoreless through his last 14 and a third innings before he faced Cotuit, exited in the 3rd inning, giving up 6 runs. I mean, Cotuit's offense woke up yesterday. They had been in a mired slumber, scoring only 3 runs over their previous 3 ball games, averaging 1 run a game. That's in 29 innings because of the 11-inning game against Orleans. But, Brendan, the way you have to look at it is this. Cotuit had lost 4 in a row, and their offense showed the resiliency that we were used to early in the season. Now, one critical note today is a Kettleers win or tie or a Wareham loss, and the Kettleers clinch the final playoff spot. 4 games to go. Cotuit up on Wareham by 7 points. That's the equivalent of 3.5 games.
Cotuit currently sits at 17, 22-1. That's 4th best in the Western Division. Hyannis 18, 22 and 22 losses. No ties this year for Hyannis. They're at 36 points. Each win gives you 2 points in the CCBL, so a win today for the Kettleers. They climb ahead in the season series. They climb ahead in the standings. We talked about the season series off the top. Hyannis currently leads in terms of run differential by 8 runs. So if the Kettleers find a way to win today, the Barnstable Patriot Cup Series in 2014 will now be tied at 3 games apiece in terms of wins. However, the Kettleers have to score more than 8 runs today and win to take the Patriot Cup trophy. Greg, you were here last year. You saw this go down. It's been since 2011 this has happened for Cotuit. But looking at the importance of this trophy, what does it mean for both clubs?
It's the pride of the town of Barnstable, who you said is celebrating their 375th anniversary of the 10 Cape Cod Baseball League teams. Barnstable Township is the only town that houses 2 teams, Cotuit on the western end, Hyannis on the eastern end. This is a long-standing rivalry back to when Hyannis was the Hyannis Mets. You've seen great players come through both of these organizations. The town of Barnstable is very lucky to be able to have 2 teams play inside a township, and it's a rivalry that's very friendly. Unlike the Kettleers rivalry with the Falmouth Commodores, which has really sparked up in recent years, this is a rivalry that's long-standing. It's your equivalent of Yankees, Red Sox, Dodgers, Giants, Cubs, Cardinals, what have you. It's a long-standing rivalry between 2 organizations who really respect each other.
Today should be a good game considering the first 2 games of this series were played at McKeon Park and Cotuit. In the first 2 games of the season, Cotuit dropped the first 2, 3-2 and 6-5. They dropped the 3rd contest on June 24th, 14-2, the highest scoring output this year for the Harbor Hawks. Cotuit finally got a win at Hyannis on June 27th, 6-2, in which Logan Taylor hit his 2nd home run of the season. And yesterday was the 5th matchup. Hyannis dropped to Cotuit 12-10, a game that saw 22 runs and had 7 lead changes. Prior to today's game, Greg Moraz caught up with assistant coach Brian Scott, filling in for Mike Roberts today. It's the Scott Scoop with Coach Scott.
It's time for the Roberts Report on the Kettleers warm-up. Standing by with Mike Roberts is Greg Moraz.
Here on the Scott Scoop on the Roberts Report, here with assistant coach Brian Scott, although you did get to manage the end of last night's ball game, but last night, a crazy ball game, 5 different lead changes. What does it take to win a game and where it seems like there's no pitching on either side?
Well, I think you got to do what we did and just never give up and continue to fight back, even if we take the lead and then give up the lead. You just got to fight back because it's not over until that last out is made. And even when we went ahead, you don't relax because you got to get the final out before you can relax.
Talk about Jackson Glein's performance last night. Not necessarily the single in the ninth that drove in what ended up being the game-winning run, but his awareness on the base paths on what ended up being a game-taking lead run. Donnie DeWeese, the right fielder, didn't realize that Jackson was coming home. Talk about Jackson's awareness on that play and how good he's been on the base path for you guys all season.
Well, we just love everything that Jackson does in terms of how he plays the game at bat, on the bases, in the field. He just attacks the game, and I think he's stepping up to be one of the spark plugs that we've been lacking. So it's just fun to watch him play, and he plays the game the right way.
After only scoring 3 runs over the previous 3 ball games, you guys scored 12 runs last night. You get 12-plus hits. I mean, what is it like to have a game like that where not only do you break out from an offensive slump, but you get in a rhythm where it seems like every single inning you know you're going to score a run?
Well, it's just a reminder of what a good offense we can have. I know that we've had some games where we didn't hit or didn't score the runs, but it's just a good reminder that we do have some great hitters and we have a good approach at the plate, and hopefully we can continue that through the rest of the season, hopefully into the playoffs if we're lucky to make it.
Jeff Kinley, tonight's starter. He had not started a game in his entire college career, had not started a game here until his last start against Orleans last Sunday, but Kinley, a guy who was extremely effective in his 5 innings of work. What about his stuff makes you think that he's going to be able to have the same type of stamina that he did the other day?
Well, I think it's whether it's the start of the game or towards the end of the game, he changes speeds, he keeps it low, he has a good changeup. So if he's pounding the zone low, whether it's in the first few innings or towards the end of the game, he's going to hopefully have success, and that's what he's done for us, whether it has been later in the game or to start the last game.
Well, Coach, really appreciate it and hope that even though the run differential is 8, you might be able to have a chance to get the Barnstable Patriot Cup for year number 2 in a row.
Thanks, Craig. Appreciate it.
That was assistant coach Brian Scott on the Scott Scoop here on the Roberts Report. We'll be back with more of the Kettleers warm-up right after this.
That was Coach Brian Scott joining us on the Roberts Report today, filling in with the Scott Scoop. And one of the things he just concluded with there, Greg, is the pitching matchup today. Jeff Kinley goes for the Kettleers, made his first start of basically his last 3 or 4 years. Never started the game in college at Michigan State. Took the ball last time out for the Kettleers against Wareham in a 6-2 loss that got shortened. But he was awfully good. Went 5 innings, allowed the 2 hits, 1 earned run, struck out 4 with just 1 walk. For a guy that's never started, this guy set the tone awfully well in a game. We saw 9 errors combined on both sides. Kinley was awfully good.
Well, the one thing about Jeff Kinley is that he throws strikes. And I remember talking to Mike Roberts before the game, and I asked him, I said, what was your decision behind throwing Jeff Kinley? And he basically said, I want somebody who can throw strikes. And Jeff Kinley is that guy. In 26 innings, he's issued only 8 walks, which basically he's issuing 1 walk every 3+ innings, which is probably one of the better numbers on the Cotuit Kettleers. Kinley only allowed 2 hits. He's been extremely effective, has only allowed 1 run in his last 7 innings pitched. So, Brendan, he is the guy that needs to go out there and establish. Trey Wingenter did not establish yesterday. He got knocked around 4 runs in that bottom half of the first inning. But then again, Hyannis sends a guy in Peter Fairbanks who has not been able to establish all season.
Not much, because his last 3 outings, he has lost every one of his starts, but he's pitched pretty well. He's pitched at least 5 innings in all 3 of those starts. He's only given up 5 earned runs in his last 3 outings, Greg. This guy hasn't got any run support.
Well, the thing about Fairbanks also is that he doesn't have what you say electric stuff, but I mean, the numbers speak for themselves when you look at it. A 5.34 ERA over 32 innings pitched. He's given up 19 earned runs over that span. So while he hasn't gotten a whole lot of run support, when your ERA stands at a 5.34 clip, you haven't done your job in order to win ball games either.
Peter Fairbanks against Jeff Kinley on the mound today. We mentioned at the top of the broadcast how good these two teams offensively are. 22 runs in yesterday's games. To get more of a sense of what Hyannis is up to in recent action, they're 5-2 in their last 7 ball games. Greg Mraz caught up with Dylan Fasano, broadcaster for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks.
Welcome into Broadcaster's Corner, where we see what's going on with the opposing team from the guys who know them best. Standing by with the Hyannis broadcast team, here's Greg Mraz.
My guests on Broadcaster's Corner are Dylan Fasano and Zach Chase, play-by-play broadcasters for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. We'll start with you, Dylan. Last night's game was really an enigma from what both of these teams have been doing offensively. 22 runs scored between the two ball clubs, 5 lead changes. I mean, is this something that if you were watching a Hyannis Harbor Hawks game that you would have expected to see?
Absolutely not. I mean, what a wild game that was. It was a combination of who wanted it more and then who wanted it less. Also, 8 combined errors, big runs scored on some of those errors late in the ball game, back and forth. Hyannis team that has been coming around lately offensively, but over the course of the year has struggled. To see them in a slugfest, something we're not used to.
Now, Zach, tonight's starter, Peter Fairbanks, he has not won a game this season. He's got an ERA over 5. He was very effective when he came to the Harbor Hawks at the end of the 2013 season. He's been here for most of the season this year. Why do you think he has struggled as much as he has?
Well, I think the issue with Fairbanks is he doesn't have a shutdown pitch. He's a guy that isn't going to strike a lot of guys out. He gets his outs from fly balls and ground balls and being effective at those guys and making them hit pitches they don't want to. We've seen him have some quality outings against some good teams. Only gave up 2 runs against the Harwich Mariners. I believe only 2 or 3 against the Orleans Firebirds as well. He just wasn't able to pick up the win in either of those games. So we've seen him be effective, albeit giving up a lot of hits in those outings. The issue is, can he keep the damage low enough for the Harbor Hawks to have a chance in the ballgame?
Dylan, Hyannis has the worst road team ERA in the Cape Cod Baseball League. They are averaging a 5.23 ERA on the road. Hyannis, since their 14-2 win over Cotuit here at Lowell Park on June 24th, the Harbor Hawks have won 2 road games. Why has Hyannis pitching been so bad away from McKeon Park?
Well, they have won 2 road games, but they have been back-to-back road games. They beat Bourne 15-6 on Friday. Before then, they shut out Wareham 3-0. So I think during that course of that rough stretch where the ball club went 3-14 over a 17-game period, they are starting to turn it around. The pitching is starting to come together on the road, especially like we said with the back-to-back road wins.
Now, Zach, when you're talking about positioning coming into the playoff run, Bourne and Falmouth are neck and neck. It looks like Hyannis is probably going to be locked into the number 3 seed in the Western Division, barring a Cotuit run in the last 4 ball games. But who do you think it's better for Hyannis to play? Bourne, who is seemingly better at home at Doran Park than they are anywhere else, or Falmouth, who's been very consistent in the month of July?
Well, if you're looking at it from the Hyannis perspective, you have to look at the Bourne Braves as a better shot for this ball club. They beat them the last 2 times. They played the Bourne Braves both at McKeon Park and at Doran Park. They won the season series with the Braves 4-2. So Hyannis has definitely had better luck against the Braves this year. Meanwhile, you look at that Falmouth lineup. 6 All-Stars at least they'll be starting in the starting lineup. Turns they're hitting some great guys out of the pen. They'll probably start Matt Hall and Kevin McCann in games 1 and 2 of a series. 2 very difficult starters to face. So if you're looking at that from the Hyannis perspective, especially considering they've lost 2 blowout games to Falmouth, I think Hyannis would very much prefer to play the Bourne Braves if it were to come down to that.
Game 6 of the 2014 Barnstable Patriot Cup. Hyannis leads it 3-2 unless Cotuit scores more than 8 runs than Hyannis today. The Harbor Hawks will lock up the 2014 Barnstable Patriot Cup. My thanks to Dylan Fasano and Zach Chase, the play-by-play broadcasters for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Game 6 coming up next. Jeff Kinley and Peter Fairbanks here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
It's time for Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Now, with lineups and first pitch, here's Brendan Glasheen.
Welcome back to Lowell Park. Game 6 of the Barnstable Patriot Cup is underway moments from now. The Kettleers have yet to take the field. They're huddled up down the third base line. Coach Roberts and Coach Gassman discussing the alignment and ground rules with the umpiring crew tonight. Let's get you the starting 9 for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Leading off the DH, Dylan Boshears. Daniel Keeley bats second. He's out in left field. The lone all-star in the lineup tonight for Hyannis, Donnie DeWeese. He's in right, batting third. Carl Wise had 5 RBIs in last night's game. He hits cleanup at first base. John Laprise has hit safely in 9 straight road games. He's batting fifth. He's over at third. Sam Haggerty, the shortstop, bats sixth. Cole Fabio, the new member from Bryant, is at second base tonight. He'll bat seventh. David Hauser does the catching instead of Arden Pabst. Catcher from Tennessee hits eighth. Kyle Servance rounds out the order, batting ninth. He's in center.
Jeremy Taylor, Jackson Glines, and Jake Fincher around the horn in the outfield from left to right. Around the horn in the infield, Drew Jackson, Kyle Holder, Logan Taylor, and Jamison Fisher from third to first. Trice Barrera catching pitches from the lefty from Michigan State, making his second ever start at the collegiate level. Number 32, Jeff Kinley.
Kinley was awfully good in his first start back on July 25th. In a 6-2 loss against the Wareham Gatemen, he went 5 innings, allowed 1 earned run, allowed 2 hits, walked 1 batter, and struck out 4. You mentioned that you've talked with Mike Roberts about the move to bring Kinley to the starting rotation. The key for Jeff has been throwing strikes. And now, Jeff Kinley is trotting towards the dugout.
Just make sure announce to the crowd with TV it's a 5:06 start.
And we're hearing from Mike Roberts just behind home plate. It's a 5:06 first pitch. So, Greg, we'll talk quickly and we'll head to some commercials moments from now. It's just to fill you guys in. A 5:06 start on Fox Sports. They're carrying the live broadcast today here at Lowell Park. TV rights means our game is on delay. So if you're tuning into us now, it's dark out.
And the game's already over.
But what should be mentioned is this game today being the 6th and final matchup between Hyannis and Cotuit this season. The 2014 Barnstable Patriot Cup has gone Cotuit's way since last year. Now, given what is at stake today, both clubs are also fighting for what actually matters, the standings. Now, not that I'm saying the Barnstable Patriot Cup isn't important, but at least for the guys on the field that are here this year, they're worried about what's happening in the postseason picture. Cotuit, basically, if they win tonight, they're slated to play the Falmouth Commodores. That's if the season were to end today. If they lose, they stay in that 4th spot, and they'll be playing Bourne in the first round.
Well, the other thing that's very complicated with this whole situation is that Falmouth beat Bourne last night at Doran Park. So the Commodores stand only a game behind the Bourne Braves for the first playoff spot, and seemingly the Kettleers are a half game behind the Hyannis Harbor Hawks for the 3rd playoff spot. Now, it is not mathematically possible for Hyannis to get to the number 2 seed, and it is not mathematically possible for Falmouth to obviously fall down even below. I just contradicted myself there, but the point being is that 3 and 4 are flip-flopping, and 1 and 2 could potentially flip-flop. You heard Zach Chase say on the broadcast that Hyannis feels much more comfortable against Bourne. You could make the argument that the Cotuit Kettleers also feel more comfortable against Bourne. The key is this. Bourne faces Orleans tonight at 6 o'clock. That is a matchup of 2 very good baseball teams. Falmouth plays Wareham. And if Falmouth wins, that officially puts the last nail in the Wareham Gatemen's coffin for the season. So Falmouth potentially could end up, if you think favorites win each of those ball games, tying Bourne in the standings with 3 games to go.
He's Greg Moraz. I'm Brendan Glasheen. 5:02 here in Cotuit, Massachusetts. Barnstable Patriot Cup trophy on the line, but plenty of playoff picture stuff going on. Another thing that we should mention today, Greg, was the MLB trading deadline. And man, oh man, both of us are Red Sox and A's fans. That was a big trade. John Lester going to the Oakland A's for Yoenis Cespedes. Tons of other stuff going on, but what a whirlwind of trading today. Based on, though, what we're broadcasting today, the Cape Cod Baseball League, I think these kids have to realize that this is what you're signing up for. You could be dealt at any given moment.
I think that the John Lester trade is surprising in the fact that Oakland essentially traded away their second-best power hitter in Yoenis Cespedes. And the thing that's remarkable when you look at the Boston Red Sox outfield is that their outfielders combined this year had 14 home runs, and Cespedes had 17 total. So that, in my opinion, is the Red Sox aiming up for the future. But these guys look at trades like that, and even look at situations like Jackson Glines. Essentially was cut by Brewster, and reacquired by the Cotuit Kettleers. The way the contracts work in the Cape Cod Baseball League, it's almost as if you're a major league free agent who is always out on the open market, and these teams, these general managers, are like Major League Baseball general managers in how they sign you. It's a very cool process in summer baseball about how guys get contracted, temp situations versus contract situations, and
That's right.
It feels like you're essentially, as a team, you're playing a real type of general manager.
And especially if you're Cotuit, they lead the Cape League in transactions this year, so Mike Roberts has really given this team a lesson in terms of moving can happen all the time. We've seen some guys, Jackson Glines here with Cotuit. Another name, Mason Klotz, departed from the Kettleers after asking for a release, went and signed with the Bourne Braves, so there's tons of movement. We'll be sure to mention in today's broadcast other names. David Price was dealt to the Tigers. Asdrubal Cabrera was dealt to the Nationals. John Lackey went to the Cardinals from the Red Sox. Tons of stuff. But we got baseball here in the Cape Cod Baseball League starting now. 5:06 the start as Jeff Kinley ready to get into the windup against Dylan Boshiers, the leadoff man from Tennessee Tech. First pitch, a fastball, hit into the backstop, foul, 0-1. Dylan Boshiers, the DH today, had 2 RBIs in yesterday's game. Went 3 for 5 for Hyannis with 3 singles. 0-1 from Kinley. Change up, misses away at 76. 1 ball, 1 strike. A game that finished a 12-10 final. Kettleers came on top in a game of 22 runs. 1-1 pitch. Fastball sliced the other way. A few steps back goes Jake Fincher. Makes the catch by his left shoulder for out number 1. Daniel Keeley, the right-handed hitter from Wichita State, to step in.
And I think it's also important to note John Norwood, a second consecutive day of rest. Jake Fincher got back on the right track last night. 2 for 5, 2 hits, a run scored. And Fincher is going to be critical for this team offensively going forward.
Kinley into the windup. First pitch is sliced to center now. Jackson Glines in on the run to make the catch in shallow center field. 2 quick outs for Kinley, both fly balls to right and center respectively. Quickly, because of that delay, let's give you the Hyannis defensive alignment one last time here.
From left to right in the outfield, Jeremy Taylor, Jackson Glines, and Jake Fincher around the horn. Drew Jackson, Kyle Holder, Logan Taylor, and Jamison Fisher. Trace Barrera behind the plate.
First pitch fastball at the thighs on the outside half to Donnie DeWeese for strike 1. DeWeese, the lone all-star in terms of position players for Hyannis. 0-1 curveball, dips too high and in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Infield back defensively for the Kettleers at normal depth. Jackson Glines a few steps to the right in center field. Kinley gets his sign from Barrera, the 1-1. DeWeese looks at a fastball high and away. 2 balls, 1 strike.
DeWeese, deservedly so. He's the only regular, excluding John Laprise, who arrived at the beginning of July, who's hitting over 300.
A 341 clip with 3 home runs and 19 RBIs. Fouls this one away. Count 2-2 with 2 down in the top of the first. No score between Cotuit and Hyannis. The Barnstable Patriot Cup trophy on the line. Cotuit needs a win and 8 or more runs to notch the trophy. 2-2. Shot into the parking lot behind us. Foul. Hyannis just needs to win today. Series right now, Hyannis leads 3-2. Hyannis took the first 3 games of this series. Cotuit has taken the previous 2 matchups. 2-2 from Kinley. Fastball up and in off the lip of the glove of Barrera. Into the backstop, count full 3-2.
One of the things that has made Kinley so effective, he doesn't overpower you, but the amount of movement that he puts on his fastball makes it hard for hitters to really hit it that squarely.
Lefty from Michigan State into the windup. 3-2, swung on and missed. Fastball up and in, gets the all-star DeWeese on strikes. A 1-2-3, top of the first for Jeff Kinley. We'll go to the home half. Kettleers coming up to bat on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College. Located in Milton, Massachusetts, it offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is
Bottom of the first inning at Lowell Park. Kettleers coming up to bat in a scoreless game against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Logan Taylor, the second baseman, to lead things off for Cotuit today. Kyle Holder, the shortstop from San Diego, bats second. The big right-handed hitter from Texas, Trace Barrera, does the catching tonight. He's batting third. Jamison Fisher, the cleanup man, he's over at first. Jackson Klein, center fielder from Michigan, hits fifth. Jake Fincher, a member of the NC State Wolfpack, bats sixth. He's over and right. Jeremy Taylor, the left fielder, hits seventh. Drew Jackson, third baseman from Stanford, hits eighth. And batting ninth from the University of San Francisco, the DH, Brendan Hendricks.
From left to right in the outfield, Daniel Keeley, Kyle Servance, and Donnie DeWeese. Around the horn, John Laprise, Sam Haggerty, newcomer Cole Fabio from Bryant, Carl Wise at first, David Hauser, the catcher from Tennessee, catching pitches from the righty from Missouri, number 37, Peter Fairbanks.
Fairbanks has lost his previous 3 starts with Hyannis. Has pitched rather well, though, so that 5.34 ERA can be deceiving. First pitch on the way. Fastball from the righty, upstairs and away to the right-handed hitting Logan Taylor. Logan has hit safely in 15 of 16 ball games for Cotuit. Waves the bat, the 1-0. Fastball high, Hauser out of the crouch. 2 balls, no strikes. I would like to take this time to wish a 22nd birthday to my broadcast partner, Greg Mraz. 2-0 pitch on the way to Taylor. Fastball hit down the third base line. It ranges foul. 2-1.
I appreciate that. You really
really
feels
built that
good.
up, huh?
Yeah. Well, I figured you would have done it when Kyle Holder stepped up to the plate because he's wearing number 22.
Ah. I had Taylor Swift in the back of my head. So, 2-1. Taylor swung on and missed. A fastball upstairs, and Taylor Swift's hit feeling 22.
It feels like a perfect night to play some baseball.
But you don't play, Greg. You announce. 2-2 pitch to Taylor. He hammers it to left. Quickly in left field is Keeley. It goes behind him. Taylor's thinking too. He's trotting over. Now he's going to go to third base. The throw in, offline, a head-first slide into third for Logan Taylor. Good start for the Kettleers.
Daniel Keeley committed what I believe is one of the more cardinal sins in baseball. If you dive for a ball, you got to dive for it completely. Daniel Keeley was not sure whether he wanted to dive for that or play it on a hop. He gave it a half-efforted dive. It slid right under his glove, and it went all the way to the wall. That's a guaranteed triple every time something like that happens.
So the dive does not pay off there. As Taylor stands at third, first pitch to Kyle Holder, a changeup, low and away. Left-handed hitter from San Diego. Kyle in his third game back from injury. Third baseman John Laprise of Virginia for Hyannis. In on the grass. Infield still back. Other than that, fastball, slice to left center. It creeps in, a base hit. Logan Taylor trots in no problem. He scores. Cotuit ahead early, 1-0.
Kyle Holder is somebody who the adjustment time coming back from a month-long layoff hasn't seemed to have hurt him. He got a base hit in his first game back against Orleans back on Saturday. And then last night he had a big RBI in the top of the 5th inning. He had 2 singles. He went 2 for 5 in the game, scored a pair of runs. Holder's back.
First pitch swinging by Barrera. It's a number out in front of home plate, but it goes off his leg as well, so it's ruled a foul ball on Trace Barrera. Stands on the right side of the plate. Trace had a big hit as well in yesterday's game. Was 1 for 4, but it was a 2 RBI double for the Kettleers that tied the game at 4 after Cotuit was trailing 4-1. And now a meeting at the mound between Hauser and Fairbanks.
I think it's worth noting that Hyannis, as we said in Broadcaster's Corner, a 5.23 ERA away from McKean Park. That's the worst road ERA in the Cape Cod Baseball League, and it explains why they've only won 2 road games in the month of July.
And in comparison to 3.49 ERA at home, Fairbanks' pitch. Curveball dips north to south for a strike. 0-2 on Barrera. He's locked at the knees. Kyle Holder leading from first base. An RBI single to plate. Logan Taylor. Kettleers on top 1-0 early on with still nobody out in the bottom of the first. Pitch, fastball away. Barrera takes a hard look at it. It's 1-2. Jamison Fisher on deck for Katuitt. Barrera taps the end of home plate, now asks for time. Fairbanks now tips his cap as he steps off. Digs back in with the right foot. On the rubber as he sets the 1-2. On the way to Trace. Here it is. Curveball in the dirt. Out in front by the right field line. Picked up by Hauser. And he'll return the baseball to Fairbanks. No advance for Holder at first. You mentioned it, Greg, how much this team has struggled on the road. Well, they've won just 3 games on the road since June 24th. That was a win against the Kettleers, 14-2. 2-2 pitch to Barrera. Curveball that gets away from Hauser. It goes behind his legs. Holder up to second base on the pass ball. The count now 3-2 on Barrera. He's worked a nice count here.
If defense was a premium, then Chad Gassman wouldn't mind that both of his catchers, Arden Pabst and David Hauser, are both hitting below 175, but Hyannis has struggled mainly because they haven't had a consistent catching position. One day it's Hauser, the next day it's Pabst, and it just keeps flip-flopping back and forth. Gassman's never decided on a main guy because they both have hit so poorly.
3-2. Trace grounds it over to third base, picked up by Laprise. Throw across the diamond in time. No advance for Kyle Holder. He remains at second. Barrera retired 5-3. You mentioned it, how this club has struggled getting offensive production. Well, a club that ranks 9th in the CCBL in batting average, and you mentioned the ERA struggles on the road. Well, overall, ERA also 9th in the league.
9th in the league in ERA and batting average, and what that equates to is a really not so good baseball team.
Kettleers 4th in the Cape League in hitting, but last in pitching. First pitch to Jamison Fisher. Bats from the left side. A fastball at 91, low and into Fairbanks, 1-0.
But sometimes those statistics are deceiving, and you were telling me in the car ride over that Brewster, who is in last place in the Eastern Division, has a better team ERA and team batting average than the first place Bourne Braves.
It's all about timeliness in this game. Holder's at second, the 1-0 pitch on the way. Fastball nubbed to the left by the on-deck circle for the Kettleers, foul. Picked up by Jackson Glines, the on-deck batter. 1-0 Kettleers with 1 out in the bottom of the first. An RBI single from Kyle Holder that scored Logan Taylor. Good start for the Kettleers, considering they need at least 8, hopefully 9, to take this Barnstable Patriot Cup trophy. Also a win would have to happen. Throw over to second, a pickoff try on Holder. Nothing doing with the shortstop from San Diego. Count still 1-1.
That's a reason, though, why run differential is not a very indicative stat necessarily, because when games, as few games that are played like this during the season.
1-1. Change up, call to strike on the outer half. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Fisher.
What I was trying to say is, in a season in where only 44 games are played, you can have a high run differential. If you lose 2 games, but end up having a positive run differential, you can lose 2 run-1 ball games and win a game by 10 runs and still have a plus 8 run differential.
1-2 pitch. Change up low in the dirt. Hauser loses it. The throw to third. Not in time to get Holder. He swipes third base. David Hauser is having a nightmare behind home plate in the bottom of the first.
2 passed balls, and that one is not one that Kyle Holder should have been able to go to third on, because it only deflected about 2 feet to the right of Hauser, but he couldn't find where the ball was. Holder recognized that he had a good enough lead off a second where he could take off for third.
Fairbanks into the windup now, 2-2. Fastball ruled, strike 3. On the outer half, it freezes Fisher for out number 2. Good fastball there. Home plate umpire Mike Collier with the strike call. Let's give you the rest of our officiating crew for tonight's game. They're brought to you by Friendly's Ice Cream because we want friendly conversations with our umpires and players and coaches. Collier's behind the plate, Rob Wilson down the first base line, and Al Liberdoni over at third tonight. Glines shoots it through the gap in right field, a base hit. Here comes Holder. He scores. An RBI single for Jackson Glines. He picks up where he left off from last night. Now 2-0 Kettleers.
Jackson Glines, a 2 RBI single that gave the Kettleers a 12-10 lead in the top of the ninth. He's been hitting the ball extremely well, made a great base running, or I should say made a great base running decision because of the fact that he was alert that Donnie DeWeese was not alert.
First pitch swinging by Fincher down the third base line, a base hit. Glines wave to third. Roberts will hold him there. Fincher up to second base. Jake Fincher, another guy who had 2 hits in last night's game. A double to advance Glines to third. Jake's at second. Second and third for Jeremy Taylor.
And you mentioned Peter Fairbanks really getting a raw end of the deal. Fairbanks has gone at least 5 innings in each of his last 3 starts, all losses. He has given up 2 earned runs or less in all of them, but he's given up 7 or more hits in each of those starts.
Allowed 10 hits on July 12th against Harwich. Allowed 7 against Orleans July 18th and 7 against Chatham on July 24th. The righty from Missouri remains in the windup. First pitch to Jeremy Taylor. Change up away. 1 ball, no strikes.
Already some action, though, loosening in the Hyannis bullpen beyond the right field fence. So Chad Gassman being a little impatient with his big righty from Missouri.
1-0 fastball, tails away. 2-0 to Jeremy Taylor. Jeremy started yesterday's game in left field. Finished 1 for 5 with a run scored. Fairbanks gets his sign. A look over at third base towards Glines. 2-0. Fastball high. Was at the belt, but not ruled a strike by Collier. 3 balls, no strikes on Jeremy.
Jeremy Taylor in his last 2 starts in left field has made some tremendous plays with the glove.
A sliding grab and a diving grab against Bourne in Katuitt's last home game. A change-up on the outer half, called a strike at 84 from Fairbanks. Katuitt and Hyannis. A 2-0 lead for the Kettleers in the final game of the year. 3-1 pitch. It's nubbed to left center. It falls over the head of Haggerty. Glines scores. Fincher held at third. Now Taylor's stuck between first and second. He's over to second base. Fincher's heading towards home. He scores. Taylor's all the way to third base. 4-0 Katuitt. Just the start you want to try and cut into this Barnstable Patriot Cup lead for Hyannis.
Daniel Keeley, the definition of an airmail. He threw that ball at least 3 feet over the head of David Hauser. It went all the way to the backstop. That's what allowed Jake Fincher to be able to come around and score. So they'll credit that. 1 RBI for Jeremy Taylor plus an E7 scores Jake Fincher.
So 1 RBI for Jeremy Taylor, not 2. But the Kettleers certainly take the run. It's 4-0. First pitch swinging by Drew Jackson, the third baseman from Stanford. A fastball away at 90 miles per hour. Jeremy Taylor at third base. The Kettleers have scored 4 runs in the bottom of the first against Peter Fairbanks. The righty steps off with his right foot.
Second consecutive game in which exactly 4 runs have been plated in the bottom of the first.
0-1 pitch, swung on and missed. Jackson out of his shoot tops, takes a walk behind the entire home bag. Now 0-2. So offense already carrying over from last night's game at McKeon Park. It's already 4-0 Kettleers. Fairbanks hopes to get out of this inning. It's 0-2 with 2 outs on Drew Jackson. 0-2. Swung and hit to the right side, out of play. A fastball at 91 that did catch a lot of the plate. You mentioned the fact he's allowed 7 hits in his last 3 starts at least. Well, today he's already allowed 5 in the bottom of the first inning. 0-2 pitch on the way to Jackson. Curveball knocks him in the back. Drew Jackson continues to get knocked by baseballs. The 9th time this year he's been hit by a pitch. He's down to first. Jeremy Taylor remains at third base.
I imagine at this point that Chad Gassman, even though Peter Fairbanks has only thrown 29 pitches, that his leash has to be very short now. A visit from the pitching coach, and Fairbanks has just not been on. And, you know, it's one thing to be able to pitch well and lose, because that's your team not giving you run support, and the fact that Hyannis has had such bad offense in Peter Fairbanks starts, there's nothing he can do about that. But giving up hit after hit after hit, he hasn't been helped by his defense either, though. A bad throw from Daniel Keeley. Daniel Keeley also was the one who caused Logan Taylor to go all the way to third. If he plays that one on a hop, that's just a leadoff single, and who knows, this inning could be completely different.
The visit at the mound concludes as Hauser heads back behind home plate. Fairbanks hopes to escape the bottom of the first with less damage than previous to the visit. 4-0 Katuitt with 2 outs in the bottom of the first. Jeremy Taylor's at third, Drew Jackson at first, Brendan Hendricks the batter. Fastball misses inside at 89. Left-handed hitter from the University of San Francisco. Did not play in yesterday's game. Gets the start as the DH tonight for Mike Roberts. Fairbanks holds the ball behind his back, comes set. The righty fires the 1-0 pitch. Jackson's off, the throw to second by Hauser. In time. The tag on the back by Sam Haggerty gets Drew Jackson. The Kettleers bat 1 through 9. Although Hendricks will lead off the second, Katuitt scores 4 runs in the bottom of the first to take a commanding lead in this season finale against Hyannis. We'll go to the second inning at Lowell Park. 4-0 Kettleers on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare.
We're back at Lowell Park. The Kettleers score 4 runs in the home half of the first inning to take a commanding 4-0 lead on the Harbor Hawks of Hyannis. 4, 5, and 6 to bat against Jeff Kinley. First pitch fastball high and away to Wise. 1 ball, no strikes. Kinley had a 1-2-3 top of the first, a couple of flyouts and a strikeout. He winds and kicks the 1-0 pitch. Tails away. Ruled a strike, though, by home plate umpire Mike Collier. The bat went halfway around for Wise. First baseman from Charleston had 5 RBIs in last night's game. 1-1 pitch from the lefty. Change up low and in. Kinley falls behind 2-1. Carl Wise sitting in the cleanup spot for head coach Chad Gassman. 2-1 pitch from Kinley. Ruled ball inside. Fastball at 88. It's 3-1 on Wise. Final score of last night's game, 12-10. Katuitt knocked down Hyannis. 3-1 pitch, nailed to the right side, through the hole as Fisher had no play at first base, a base hit. Rolls into the glove of Jake Fincher in mid-tier right field. First hit of the ball game for Hyannis. It's Carl Wise, the leadoff single to begin the top of the second. This brings up the left-handed hitter from Virginia, John Laprise. Starting over at third base tonight. Plants the left foot in. The right foot comes in as well. Kinley sets the first pitch. Fastball on the outer half at 85. Called strike. Laprise behind 0-1. John has a 9-game road hit streak going. Was a late arrival, considering he played in the College World Series Championship. Curveball bends in for a strike on the inner half. Laprise took the bat off his shoulder, didn't come around on the pitch. 0-2. 5 hits, 4 runs for the Kettleers. Hyannis just notched their first hit with a wise base hit. He's at first with nobody out. The pitch. Fastball misses away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Jackson Glines continues to shade himself towards left center field when left-handed hitters come up. The breeze blowing out towards the outfield, so that might be the reason. 1-2 almost in the same spot as the 0-2 as the fastball reaches away. 2 balls, 2 strikes on John Laprise. Drew Jackson, even with the third base bag, down the third base line. Jamison Fisher holding on, wise at first. 2-2. Fastball, grounded up the middle. Kinley jumps, can't get it. On the backhand try goes Logan Taylor. He can't get it either. It's a base hit. Wise up to second. Laprise down to first. An infield single. Back-to-back singles for Hyannis. They're trying to respond here in the top of the second inning.
That's the type of play that an infielder can get distracted by a pitcher jumping for the ball, because Logan Taylor and Kyle Holder think that Jeff Kinley has a chance to make that play, which is why they aren't charging on it. The glove also distracts where they think the ball is going to go, which is why Logan Taylor wasn't able to have any play on that one once it got over the mound.
Wise at first, Laprise at first base. Wise is at second base. 0-1 pitch on the inner half to Sam Haggerty. Shortstop from New Mexico. Plants in from the right side. Bats just by his right shoulder. Pitch lifted to left center field. Long run for Taylor and Glines. It's Taylor to make the catch in left center. Just by the tip of the shadow in left center field for out number 1.
Jeremy Taylor, despite the fact that at times his arm may not be the strongest, he does a very good job of tracking down baseballs, and I've been very impressed with how he has played defensively in the last 3 games out in left field.
Running to the spot. That's what they teach you in Little League. Newest member of the Harbor Hawks is Cole Fabio. He takes a fastball outside. 1 ball, no strikes on the second baseman from Bryant. 5'10", 170 pounds. Just finished his freshman year. From Mahwah, New Jersey, the righty waggles the bat behind his helmet. The 1-0. Fastball sliced to the right, foul. Out of play. Was selected to the 3rd team All-New England club as a freshman. He was Bryant's primary second baseman for the final 3 weeks of the year. Change up, misses away at 77. 2 balls and a strike.
College teammates with back-end 2013 Kettleer Vaughn Hayward, who was brothers with temporary Kettleer Garrett Hayward at the beginning of the season.
2-1 pitch to Fabio. Fastball ruled a strike. Just above the knees on the inner half, it's 2-2. 1 out, top of the second. Kituitt leads 4-0 on Hyannis in the 6th and final matchup of the 2014 season between the two clubs. The Barnstable Patriot Cup trophy on the line today. 2-2, fastball sliced to the right, foul. Count remains the same at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Fabio singled and scored in Bryant's only run of the final game of the season against Southeastern Louisiana, where Jamison Fisher goes to school. Swung on and missed it. Change up, low and in. Kinley gets the strikeout. Second consecutive out recorded. Second strikeout for Kinley in the ball game. First and second, the runners stay put with 2 outs for David Hauser.
I think that Jeff Kinley, when he's able to locate his breaking stuff, that's when he's most effective. His fastball has a lot of movement to it, but when you're able to put a changeup or a curveball in the low inside corner, if it hits the strike zone, you got to swing, but it's not a very hittable pitch either way.
Kinley just above 30 pitches here in the top of the second. First pitch swinging by Hauser. He's way off. A breaking ball that tails away. 0-1 to the catcher from Tennessee. Did not play in last night's game. Arden Paps, the catcher from Georgia Tech, got the start for Chad Gassman. As Hauser bats from the right side, a slight open stance. Kinley fires the 0-1. Fastball, knee high, Mike Collier, the home plate umpire, rules it a ball. It's 1-1.
Coming into that June 24th game, both catchers, although their numbers have improved, both Pabst and Hauser were hitting at .057.
Wise at second, Laprise at first. The pitch, changeup, called a strike. Kinley's been able to locate both the fastball and changeup early on. That pitch there, you can see Hauser didn't even lift the bat. These hitters have been thrown off the first time through. Hauser lets the bat point out in front towards the mound as Kinley sets the 1-2. Fastball away. Off the plate, Hauser doesn't catch, doesn't chase, it's 2-2. A breezy day at Lowell Park. The Slotnick family grandstands filled with Kettleer Nation as Kinley steps off to reset the routine with Barrera, the catcher. Lets the glove lean on his right thigh. Bat held out in front by Hauser. Kinley sets, fires the 2-2. Fastball swung on and missed. 2 straight strikeouts for Jeff Kinley to get out of a first and second jam here in the top of the second. We'll go to the home half at Lowell Park. Kettleers lead 4-0 on the Harbor Hawks. You're listening to Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network, Barnstable Mashpee, Channel 99, and Channel 13 in Sandwich.
Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it.
Cotuit and Hyannis for the last time in 2014. Greg Moraz and Brendan Glasheen here with you at the beautiful Lowell Park. First pitch on the way from Fairbanks. A fastball that misses away to Brendan Hendricks, left-handed hitter from the University of San Francisco. 1-0 pitch. Fastball swung on and missed at 86 on the outer half. Hendricks has an even count at 1-1. Brendan was at the plate in the first inning, but Drew Jackson was caught stealing at second. 1-1, hit down the first baseline, foul. No play for first base coach Brian Bamanek. He's got the high socks going today down the first baseline. Mike Roberts, the third base coach for the Kettleers. Infield and outfield straight away for the Harbor Hawks. Fairbanks into the windup, 1-2. Change up, bounces out in front of home plate into the catcher's mask of David Hauser. 2-2. Hauser's got his Tennessee Volunteer gear on. The black padding with the orange trim and the bright orange helmet. 2-2 pitch. Hendricks cuts it into the backstop, foul. 2-2.
He'll be working a lot this year with new Tennessee pitching coach and current Brewster Whitecap pitching coach Chip Dill.
Fairbanks winds. 2-2 misses away. Fastball at 87. Sort of a surprise, he's remained in the game, allowed 4 runs on 5 hits in the bottom of the first. 3-2 pitch, misses away, ball 4. First walk allowed today by the right-hander from Missouri, but Greg, you mentioned it, he's been way too much around the plate.
He also hit Drew Jackson, so the second base runner he's allowed on a ball not put in play, but Fairbanks has allowed 5 hits to this point in only 9 batters faced, and he's allowed 2 base runners on balls not put in play. So in essence, of the 9 guys he's faced, 7 of them have reached base.
Coming into today is the first pitch on the way to Taylor. Sliced towards second. Picked up on a nice hop by Fabio. Flips to Haggerty for one. Throw to first. Double play. Fabio fielded off to his left. Spun to make the throw to Haggerty at second. And the turn at first in time to get two. Was just going to mention there that Fairbanks heading into the start today, in his previous 17 innings, he's allowed 24 hits. So he's been around the plate, like you said. Hit Drew Jackson, walked Hendricks, but quickly that runner disappears as Holder drops a bunt down the first base line. It's going to have to be Fabio. Fields on the run, throw to first, nowhere in time. Kyle Holder, 2 for 2, a bunt single, his second in 2 straight games.
Kyle Holder does a very good job of drag bunting. Now, what drag bunting entails is being able to hold the bat out in front of home plate and essentially hit the ball at a point that is in front of the start of the home plate and keep running with it. And Holder has done a nice job. He did that against Orleans in his first game back.
Here's Trace Barrera, catcher from Texas. Looks at a fastball high and away, but called a strike. 0-1 to the catcher from Tejas. Grounded out in his first at-bat. Over to third base by John Laprise. Fairbanks sets at the belt. Pitch on the outside corner. A low changeup. 0-2. 2 down. Bottom of the second. Kettleers lead 4-0. A 4-run bottom of the first in which Logan Taylor, Kyle Holder, Jackson Glines, and Jake Fincher all crossed home plate. 0-2. Barrera smashes it down the left field line. Foul. Mike Roberts with his hands behind his back simply gazed at that ball rallying down the line. We'll see another 0-2 pitch on the way to Barrera as Kyle Holder at first base with 2 down. Fairbanks stretches out in front, sets straight away at the belt, fires the 0-2. Fastball up and away. Good waist pitch, 1-2.
Barrera's not a guy that you want to put anything on the inner half to because he's got such good bat speed. He's able to pull the hands in extremely quickly. You saw it on that foul ball down the line, how hard he can hit a ball when put in his wheelhouse.
Pulled a 2 RBI double down the left field line last night at McKeon Park against these Harbor Hawks. A 12-12 win for the Kettleers. Change up, misses low and inside. Barrera has a 2-2 count on him. Talked to Trace a couple of weeks ago. Mentioned he played not running back in high school, but quarterback. So a big guy, but not as tall. 2-2 fastball, misses away. The count full. Holder should be off on the next pitch. You know, you look at Trace. 6'2", 195. Doesn't look 6'2", if you ask me. Fairbanks, the 3-2. Fastball away, ball 4. Holder was off. It doesn't matter. He'll stay at second base on the free pass to Trace Barrera. First and second, 2 outs. Katuitt looking for more damage with a 4-0 lead on Peter Fairbanks, but that is going to do it for him today. Chad Gassman, the manager, has seen enough. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by the Fuller family, as it's first and second. And not the day for Peter Fairbanks on the hill. Exits with 45 pitches tonight. A new arm coming in from right field. We'll have who it is next. 4-0 Kettleers against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you.
Welcome back to Lowell Park. It's bottom of the second. Katuitt leads 4-0 with runners at first and second, 2 outs. Peter Fairbanks receives the hook from head coach Chad Gassman. The new pitcher for the Harbor Hawks, Nick Bates.
Nick Bates making his 6th appearance, 7 1/3 innings pitched, 2 earned runs on 9 hits, 12 strikeouts to 4 walks, a 2.46 ERA from the righty from St. Louis, college teammates with Falmouth All-Star righty Matt Eckelman.
Jamison Fisher, first baseman from southeastern Louisiana, takes a fastball away. 1 ball, no strikes. Fisher struck out looking in the first, the only strikeout today for Fairbanks. Went an inning and 2/3, allowed 6 hits, 4 runs, walked 2, and struck out 1. He is responsible for Holder at second and Brera at first. 1-0 pitch, fastball, misses away. The right-hander Bates from Orland Park, Illinois. 6 foot, 190 pounds. Hauser puts down the sign. Bates sets just by the chest, 2-0. Fastball laced to the left, out of play. It's a car just to our left. Looks like a white station wagon. And those fans are actually sitting in their vehicle. Hope they know this isn't the drive-in. 2 balls, 1 strike. Runners at first and second. Katuitt a 4-0 lead on Hyannis. The pitch. Fastball again laced to the left. Range is out of play. Just by the big Fox Sports truck. They are broadcasting today's ball game here at Lowell Park. So if you're tuned into us right now on YouTube, you might be going to bed soon. Hopefully, you keep it locked on our YouTube page at Katuitt Kettleers. 2-2 pitch to Fisher. Change up. Low and inside. The count runs full.
A lot of times, a lot of TV and radio stations will do midnight replays of games that occurred that day.
I know.
It's actually a pretty cool thing.
For the Red Sox, they call it Sox in 2. Sure, many Red Sox fans won't be getting any sleep tonight, considering all the trades. This pitch shot to the right side, a base hit. Here comes Kyle Holder. He trots in and scores the Kettleers' 5th run of the ball game. 5-zip Kettles on the Hawks. The runs just keep on coming. 12 last night, 5 already today. We mentioned it before the broadcast, Greg. Hyannis is up by 8 in the Barnstable Patriot Cup Series. Well, now that's been cut to 3, and Katuitt is winning.
It'll be a very interesting scenario should the Kettleers come within leading Hyannis by 8 runs in this ball game.
An RBI for Jamison Fisher. Brings up Jackson Glines, an RBI single in his last at-bat. Takes a change up at 86 on the outer half. Ruled a strike, 0-1. Jackson Glines plated his 13th RBI. Jamison Fisher plated his 9th RBI moments ago. Bates sets the 0-1. Fastball moved to the left, out of play by the Kettleers' Kitchen. 0-2 quickly on the left-handed hitter from Michigan. Getting the start today in center field. Glines a slight open stance, always repping that white sleeve on his left arm. Bates stares in towards Hauser. Gets his sign, now Glines requests time. Takes a practice swing. On the right side of home plate from our view. Steps in on the left as Bates comes set once again. Looks back at the runner at second in Barrera. The pitch, change up low and in. It gets away from Hauser. No one's at second, as Hauser wanted to go to second base with the throw because Barrera was well towards third. Trace is at third base now. Jamison Fisher at second. And the struggles continue for David Hauser behind the plate. Now runners in scoring position with 2 outs for Katuitt. They hit .269 in those situations. The 1-2. Fastball high and away. Nowhere close for Glines to swing. Two balls, 2 strikes.
And Bates at this point, even though it's still only a 5-run ball game, he's got to eat some innings. He's got to be efficient here and be able to keep the ball down.
Hyannis with the worst road ERA in the Cape League at 5.23 as Glines shoots it towards the dugout of the Harbor Hawks. Foul. Coach Bamanek picks it up, flips it to some fans down the right field line. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the second, Kettleers a 5-0 advantage on the Harbor Hawks in the final matchup of the season. 2-2. Glines pounds it to right. It's going to fall down the right field line. Barrera scores easily. Here comes Fisher. He's in. A 2 RBI double for Jackson Glines. His 3rd RBI already today. Katuitt 7, Hyannis still Zippo.
Glines in his last 3 at-bats has driven in 5 runs. The 2 RBI single last night in the 9th and the single here today and that double just a moment ago. Jackson Glines is a guy who had struggled in the mid part of July but starting to get hot once again.
Glines entered the ball game with a .284 clip. He's 2 for 2 with 3 RBIs today. First pitch fastball, knee high to Jake Fincher. No balls and a strike. Fincher doubled in his first at bat to score a run also in the inning. Fincher holds the bat close to his right shoulder. 0-1. Fastball slammed to the right side, picked up by Fabio on the line, makes the grab to retire the side. The Kettleers grab 3 in the bottom half of the second inning. They're rolling right along. We'll head to the third. 7-0 Kettles on the Hawks. You're listening to Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network, Barnstable Mashpee, Channel 99, and Channel 13 in Sandwich. Stick with us.
Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees.
7-0 Kettleers as we head to the top of the third inning. Katuitt scored 4 in the bottom half of the first. They scored 3 in the bottom half of the second inning. Chad Gassman cannot be too pleased as he walks out towards the third base coach's box with how his Hyannis pitching staff has gone out today. Peter Fairbanks' day is in the books officially. Fairbanks, let's just say it wasn't pretty. 1 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 6 runs, 2 walks, 1 strikeout. Not sure yet how many of them will be earned. Kyle Cervantz, the center fielder from Houston, steps up to the plate. Lefty-lefty matchup. Cervantz stands in. First pitch from Kinley. Fastball misses high and away. 1-0 the count. Cervantz hitting at .196 on the season. 19 hits and 97 at-bats. Lefty-lefty matchup. Pitch on the way. Fastball hits the high outer corner. Count even at 1. Drew Jackson even with the bag at third. Kyle Holder shifted towards the third base side at short. Logan Taylor shifted towards the second base bag at second. Kinley. Shoulders 45 degrees to home plate. Kicks delivers the 1-1 to Cervantz. Looping curveball. Taken on the outside corner for a strike. 1-2. Cervant's future college teammates with Kettleer catcher Ian Rice. 2 hits for Hyannis. They've committed 1 error. 8 hits for the Kettleers. They've committed no errors. They've scored 7 runs. 1-2 fouled out of play over the Slotnick family grandstands, where a Fox Sports cameraman is running around. A wireless camera. So using wireless inputs. There's a lot of good technology that goes into high-tech television cameras nowadays. 1-2 offering on the way. Cervant's up the middle, nabbed by Jeff Kinley. Leaps up, whips it to first, and Cervant's has retired a great defensive play by Jeff Kinley, leaping up to snag that grounder.
And that's one time through the order now for Jeff Kinley. Retired 7 of 9 Harbor Hawks. Just want to let our listeners know, even though we're on delay, we're going to have Kat Smith on the air with us. She's a big follower of the Barnstable Patriot Cup.
First pitch to Dylan Boshears, looped into the right center field gap, a base hit. Boshears, a long turn at first. Glines is having trouble picking up the ball, and that allows Boshears to go into second base. So a single and an error. Or at least that's what we assume it will be. Although no error has been ruled. A straight-up double for Dylan Boshears. A one-out double brings up Daniel Keeley, the left fielder from Wichita State. Keeley tied for the team lead with 5 home runs. First pitch swing and a miss. Nice changeup, low and in. 0-1 the count. Kinley sets in the stretch. Third base side of the rubber. Time called. Boshears leads from second. Logan Taylor behind him at second base. Holder shifted slightly towards the second base bag. 0-1, breaking ball in the dirt. Inside half. Barrera blocks and flips it back to Kinley. Count even at 1.
Kat Smith, just to inform our listeners, works for the Barnstable Patriot Cup website, barnstablepatriot.com. She'll be on to chat about the history, 375th anniversary for Barnstable.
Keeley hits it high and deep to left field. Jeremy Taylor going back on it, ranges to his right, settles in front of the fence, makes the catch. Boshears has to retreat to second. A long loud out for Daniel Keeley. He's 0 for 2 on 2 flyouts. If that ball's hit at McKeon Park, it's probably a home run. Not at Lowell Park, where the dimensions are much greater. That'll bring up Donnie DeWeese.
You mentioned it earlier how impressive Jeremy Taylor has been in the outfield defensively. Has made the routine plays and has tracked down a lot of ground.
First pitch curveball misses low and away to the left-handed hitting DeWeese from North Florida, the Osprey. Coincidentally, Hyannis' mascot is Ozzy the Osprey, although last year he was Harry the Harbor Hawk. 1-0. DeWeese hits down the ground to first. Fisher boots it. He recovers, flips to Kinley in time to get DeWeese. DeWeese takes off his batting helmet as he runs into right field in disgust. A one-out double by Dylan Boshears, but he is stranded at second. We've played 2.5 here at Lowell Park. 7-0 Kettleers here in Game 6 of the 2014 Barnstable Patriot Cup. Stick with us here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Comcast Channel 99 from Mashpee to Chatham, and Channel 13 in Sandwich.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years.
7, 8, and 9, 2 up for the Kettleers against Nick Bates, the righty from St. Louis. 7-0 Katuitt here in the bottom of the third inning. Jeremy Taylor steps up 1 for 1 with an RBI. Back in the first on an opposite field single. A second run scored on a bad throw from Daniel Keeley. First pitch from Bates. Taylor hits it high to center field. Servance ranges back to his right, backpedals in front of the fence, makes the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out. Taylor retired. He's 1 for 2. Brings up Drew Jackson. Jackson does not have an official at-bat today. He was hit by a pitch, the 9th hit by pitch that he has had this season. Righty-righty matchup. Bates winds, kicks, delivers to Jackson. First pitch fastball, misses high and in for ball 1.
Talked about the playoff race also heading into today's game. The Brewster Whitecaps off to a good start. 7-0 lead on YD.
1-0 fastball swung on and missed. Count even at 1-1. Who ended up winning that YD Chatham game last night?
I believe it was Chatham that got the game last night.
1-1, breaking ball. Caught at the knees, a strike, 1-2. So Brewster trails by 5 points with 4 games to go. 1-2 to Jackson, swing and a miss. Nice changeup from Bates. Dips low in the zone. About the middle of the plate. Jackson strikes out. Brings up Brendan Hendricks.
A 6-5 win last night for the Chatham Anglers. Very similar situation for the Wareham Gatemen. They pretty much have to win out and hope the Kettleers lose out for any chance to make the postseason.
First pitch of Brendan Hendricks. Fastball hits the high outside corner for strike 1. Hendricks walked back in the second inning, although he came to the plate in the first. 0-1. Fastball high and away. Count even at 1-1. St. Louis University, located in St. Louis, Missouri, home of the Billikens. People always ask, what the heck is a Billiken? 1-1, changeup, hits the high outer corner. 1-2 the count on Hendricks. St. Louis was the last school coached by legendary basketball coach who coached at USC and most notably Utah, Rick Majerus. 1-2, ring him up, strike 3 called. A 1-2-3 inning for Nick Bates. We're through 3 at Lowell Park, 7-0 Kettles here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it.
Back at Lowell Park, a 7-0 lead for the Katuitt Kettleers through 3 innings, and now joining us up in the booth for the BarnstablePatriot.com senior reporter, it's Kat Smith, who has a lot of insight about this matchup between Hyannis and Katuitt. Right now, the Barnstable Patriot Cup Series at 3-2 in favor of Hyannis. Katuitt just needs 2 more runs and a victory today to take this, as run differential decides the Cup trophy if it comes down to each team winning 3 games. The first pitch to Carl Wise is fouled to the right, out of play. Jeff Kinley back on the mound facing 4, 5, and 6 for Hyannis. 0-1 pitch. Wise slaps it towards center field. Jackson Glines backpedals a few times. Now he's set under it to make the catch by his head for out number 1. So, Kat, thank you for joining us. And if you'd like to explain to our listeners here, why is this important for this community?
Well, this was created in 2004 by former Patriot sports writer David Curran to honor the fact that Barnstable is the only town on Cape Cod that has 2 Cape Cod Baseball League teams. And he thought it would be a great idea to create a friendly rivalry, and it's been going on every year since then. During the season, they play each other 6 times, and the winner of the 6 games gets the cup and a little bonus for their respective athletic association. In the event of a tie, we have 3 tie breaks. We have fewest runs allowed, most strikeouts against, and the one that I've been waiting forever to see, which is the bat toss between team managers.
0-2 pitch, curveball, lifted to the left side, an easy pop-up for Kyle Holder. He makes the catch on the 0-2 pitch from Kinley, 2 quick outs. So it does not come down to run differential?
It's fewest runs allowed, and then we go to most strikeouts against.
Okay.
And right now the teams are tied at fewest runs allowed with 35.
Okay. So Cotuit in line if they get the win today, because they would even the series at 3 apiece. First pitch fastball in the outer half to Sam Haggerty, ruled a strike, 0-1. The way the matchups have gone this season, Cotuit lost the first 3, June 11th, June 12th, and June 24th. First game was at Hyannis on opening day. Next game was the Cotuit home opener here at Lowell Park, a 6-5 loss. Both games are 1-run games. And then Hyannis, their highest output of the season offensively, 14-2. This pitch grounded to the left side foul. A 14-2 win for Hyannis here at Cotuit on June 24th. And the Kettleers have pulled out the last 2. June 27th at Hyannis, July 30th yesterday at Hyannis. 6-2 and 12-10. So it's been a wild series. 1-run games, high-scoring games like last night. 1-2 pitch from Haggerty. Half-hearted swing out in front. First base umpire Rob Wilson says he doesn't go around. So we saw the cake that was out here earlier. I don't see it anymore, but you mentioned a friendly rivalry. You have Hyannis on the east side and then Cotuit on the western side. What has it been like for you reporting on this and kind of seeing how everyone's interacted?
It's been a really fun experience every year because it gets fans involved in baseball, and baseball on Cape Cod is one of the most amazing summer experiences I think anyone can have, whether you're a fan or a player on the field.
And would you say, as Kinley winds 2-2 pitch to Haggerty, this is low and in, count now full at 3-2, would you say that, given this is the 375th anniversary for this town, I mean, Cape Cod is old, 1669 is that date. Do you see that in people, the pride as a pitch outside ball 4 to Haggerty?
Barnstable as a whole is one of the most incredible communities on the Cape. People here are so unified and community oriented. Anywhere you go, I'm from Barnstable, and they're really proud of that, and that resonates throughout the whole entire 7 villages.
Now, is there now the runner at first in Haggerty with 2 outs, 7-0 Kettleers. As Kat just mentioned, Cotuit and Hyannis have each scored 35 runs in this series. So the winner today, if it's Hyannis, they take it with a 4-2 advantage. Kettleers can win with the W, and if they get one more run.
The Kettleers also lead right now in most strikeouts against. Hyannis has 27, where Cotuit has approximately 39. We're still counting.
Okay, 1-0, swung on and missed by Cole Fabio, the newest Hyannis Harbor Hawk, second baseman from Bryant. Short second baseman, just 5'9", 170 pounds. Now, do you have any specific story that you might have been able to report in recent years that really demonstrates that pride that you were speaking of as the pitch misses outside?
In terms of Cape Cod baseball or just the communities?
Cape Cod baseball.
I think there isn't one specific story. I think it's mostly seen in how the communities come out each summer to the games. Having been to games all over the Cape, I have to say that I'm always impressed with the fan turnout at both Hyannis and Cotuit. They're very loyal and dedicated, and they just adore their players.
2-1, misses inside. Now 3-1 on Fabio. First 2 outs recorded by Kinley on pop-outs. Haggerty a 2-out walk. Count 3-1 with 2 outs. Top of the 4th, 7-0. Cat Smith, senior reporter for the Patriot Cup website. Swing and a miss. 3-2 now. Now, given the fact you're on the air here, anything you'd like to share in terms of maybe something I haven't asked you yet?
Wow, that's a tough question. That's one I usually ask other people.
I know, a reporter now being turned on you. Pitch off the mask of Barrera. It's ball 4 anyway. And now a runner going towards third base. The throw over from Barrera. Not in time, says third base umpire Al Liberdoni. So Haggerty was off on the pitch. He goes first to third on the ball 4 that goes off the mask of Barrera. Fabio's down to first base on the walk. 2 consecutive walks by Kinley. And now Mike Roberts out to visit the mound. Have you thought of something yet?
I think one of the favorite things about summertime baseball for me, through the years I've watched many players come and go. One of the most exciting moments is flipping on the TV and seeing a player I watched in Cotuit or in Hyannis with the major leagues. Mm-hmm. That is one of the most exciting feelings I've had as a sports writer, and I look and go, I remember him.
Yeah.
And that's second to none, I think.
The entire infield now meeting with Mike Roberts. Now, Coach Roberts has been here for 11 years. Chad Gassman is a veteran with these clubs. How about the managers? Have you seen any pride that might be exerted towards their players? It's a new group of guys every year, of course.
Last year, Cotuit won not only the Patriot Cup, but they also won the championship. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I was able to witness through both events is Mike Roberts' immense pride in his team.
Right.
This is a man who definitely works his players hard, but in the end considers them all a piece of his heart.
Fastball inside corner to David Hauser, the catcher from Tennessee. He's 0 for 1 with the strikeout against Kinley. He has 3 in the ball game today. 3 strikeouts on the Hyannis end. 1 from Fairbanks, the starter. Bate has 2 that he got back in the third. 0-1 pitch. Fastball hit hard to left field. Jeremy Taylor backs up on it, makes the catch close to the left field line. Well, Cat Smith, thank you so much for coming on the air with us, giving us a sense of what this is all about, and hopefully it's not too complicated. We hopefully get a winner the easy way. Right now it looks like Cotuit might get it with the run differential, so it should be fun for these next 6.5 innings.
I just love that Cotuit is keeping it exciting.
That's right. Okay, well, Kat, thank you so much for coming on the air with us today. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th. Kettleers lead 7-0 on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network, Barnstable-Mashpee, Channel 99, and Channel 13 in Sandwich.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College. Located in Milton, Massachusetts, it offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College. Located in Milton, Massachusetts, it offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast.
Top of the order for the Kettleers in the bottom of the 4th. It's 7-0 Cotuit on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. First pitch on the way from Bates. A fastball popped up just in front of home plate. David Hauser, the catcher, now stuttering a bit. It goes off the inside of his glove. Drops a routine foul ball. And Logan Taylor catches a break. So it's 0-1 to Taylor. He'll walk back towards first base. And now he'll head back towards home plate. 0-1 the count. Nobody out. In the bottom of the fourth, Kettleers lead 7-0 in the final game of the 2014 Barnstable Patriot Cup. Cotuit and Hyannis have each scored 35 runs in this series. The Kettleers in line to get this title if they both win today and score another run. 0-1 pitch to Taylor. Fastball nubbed on the inside of the bat, popped up just behind the first base bag. It's caught by Carl Wise, the first baseman. One down as Taylor pops out, F3 against Nick Banks. Bates, starter from St. Louis, a 2.46 ERA in 5 appearances. Today is his 6th appearance. He's allowed 2 runs, rather just 1 run. 6 runs charged to today's starter, Peter Fairbanks. As Kyle Holder trots in on the left end of the batter's box. Holder is 2 for 2 in the ball game. An RBI single back in the first and singled and scored in the second. A bunt single in 2 straight games. Bates holds at the glove, into the windup, pitch, fastball outside. 1-0 to Holder. Kettleers and Harbor Hawks scored 22 runs combined in yesterday's game. Cotuit pulling it out 12-10. Fastball knee high on the outside half. 1 ball, 1 strike. These two teams battling for the 3 seed in the Western Division with 4 games to play, including to today's game. 1-1 on the way. Change up, low and in. Picked in the dirt by Hauser. 2 balls and a strike. Kettleers with 35 points in 4th place. Hyannis with 36 points in 3rd place. A Kettleer win. They're back in 3rd. 2-1. Holder mashes to the left side. It tails out of play by the Kettleers bullpen that is silent. So Jeff Kinley should be on for the 5th inning. Kinley's been solid for the Kettleers. 4 innings pitched, has allowed 3 hits, no runs. Has walked 2 and struck out 3. Has been great in a starting role for Cotuit. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Fastball upstairs and outside. Bates gets Holder to chase for out number 2 here in the bottom of the 4th. Again, we'd like to thank you for tuning into our broadcast, although we are on tape delay tonight. Fox Sports is live and in the house at Lowell Park. Greg Mraz on the broadcast right now. Be sure to tune in. Fastball up and inside. Of course, what would be really great is if you tuned in to myself for one half and then Greg Mraz the other half. Greg getting some play-by-play chances with Fox Sports TV here on the East Coast. 1-0, misses inside to Barrera. Trace squared the ball up on a foul ball his previous at-bat. Walked and scored to conclude the at-bat. 3 runs in the second for Cotuit, 4 runs in the first. Fastball up and in. It's 3-0 on the big catcher from Texas. Jamison Fisher, the on-deck batter for the Kettleers, had an RBI single in his last at-bat. Bates into the windup, 3-0 from the righty. Fastball plunks him off the right shoulder. Trace heads down to first base. Second time he's reached base safely. Neither on a hit, though. A walk and a hit by pitch. So a 2-out base runner for the Kettleers here in the whole half of the 4th. It's 7-0 Cotuit on top of Hyannis. The final regular season matchup between the two clubs. Cotuit dropped the first 3. Final scores of 3-2, 6-5, and 14-2. The Kettleers have taken the previous 2 matchups. June 27th at Hyannis, 6-2. July 30th at Hyannis yesterday, 12-10. And here on the 31st, the day of the MLB trade deadline, Cotuit has a 7-0 advantage. Change up, call to strike on the outer half to the left-handed hitter from southeastern Louisiana, Jamison Fisher. Fisher's 1 for 2, struck out looking in the first. RBI single and scored back in the second. Holds the bat out in front. The bright red batting gloves cocked behind his helmet. The pitch cut on and hit to the right side by the on-deck circle for Hyannis. No balls, 2 strikes on Jamison Fisher. Lots of noise in the MLB trade deadline today. Big names such as John Lester and David Price. Two All-Star Cy Young caliber pitchers being dealt to the Tigers and A's respectively. 0-2, Fisher swings through it. Change up, cuts low and in. Bates didn't know it was strike three. Now he walks off the mound with a clean fourth inning despite the hit-by pitch to Barrero. We'll go to the fifth inning at Lowell Park. Kettleers have a 7-0 lead on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Stay tuned for more Barnstable Patriot Cup finale action on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network, Barnstable Mashpee, Channel 99, and Channel 13 in Sandwich.
Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees.
Logan Taylor moves to third, and Jordan Ebert comes in at second base. He will be batting in Drew Jackson's spot at number 8 in the order. Jeff Kinley out for inning number 5 of work here. 7-0 Cotuit. Kinley has allowed 3 hits and has only walked 2, both of them back-to-back in the top of the 4th inning. Here's Kyle Servance, first pitch breaking ball. Hits the low outside corner for a strike 0-1. Servance grounded out to Jeff Kinley. Back in the 3rd. So Taylor shifts over, and Ebert now enters the ball game. 0-1 breaking ball, misses low and away. Count even up at 1-1. If Kinley completes this inning, he will have qualified for a victory. His second qualifying start in as many starts. 1-1, fastball. Hits the low outside corner. 1-2. I have to say that Mike Collier, the home plate umpire, is very lenient with his low and away calls. He has called a lot of strikes that look outside to be strikes. 1-2, curveball. Misses low and in. Count even up at 2-2. Kettleers, 7 runs on 8 hits, no errors. Harbor Hawks, 3 runs, or rather 3 hits, 2 errors. The second error coming in the last half inning on a David Hauser dropped pop-up. 1-2 fastball, or 2-2 fastball, misses high and away. Count goes to full, 3-2 on Servance. On deck is the leadoff man, Dylan Boshears. Kinley stares in over the glove, winds, kicks, delivers the payoff. Servance hits down the ground to second. Ebert, he gobbles it up in his chest, fires quickly to first, in time to get the speedy Kyle Servance. Servance had a lot of success this season at the University of Houston, but his struggles with the bat have dropped him to 9th in the order. You look at Hyannis all around, they have struggled with the bat significantly. Dylan Boshears steps up to the plate, 1 for 2 with a double. Breaking ball, taken to the knees for a strike, 0-1 on the Tennessee Tech DH. To tell you how good Tennessee Tech's offense was this year, Boshears had 11 home runs for the Eagles. Boshears on a line to second, nabbed by Jordan Ebert. Quickly 2 away. Boshears was 4th on the team with 11 home runs. 11. Most college teams don't have guys that even get to 10 home runs, let alone be 4th on the team with 11. It's quite something. Brings up Daniel Keeley. Keeley and Kinley throws a first pitch fastball behind the back. Very similar to the pitch back in 2012 that Jose Quintana of the Chicago White Sox threw behind a Tampa Bay Rays batter that got him ejected. Hawk Harrelson won on his infamous "What are you doing, Wegner" rant, in which he had to apologize, being forced by Major League Baseball. 1-0. Changeup, swing and a miss. Keeley cuts through a Kinley off-speeder. Count even up at 1. Taylor even with a bag at third. Ebert ranges towards the second base bag. 1-1 curveball, misses low and in. Count to 2-1. With the re-arrival of Kyle Holder, though, you wonder if Jordan Ebert's going to start seeing some more playing time in the outfield. 2-1, chopper. Holder, the shortstop, ranges to his left, fires across on the move in time to get Daniel Keeley. 5 scoreless innings for Jeff Kinley. He has been a stud, to say the least, in his last 2 outings, both of them starts. We'll head to the bottom of the 5th inning here at Lowell Park. 7-0 Kettleers here in Game 6 of the 2014 Barnstable Patriot Cup. Keep it locked right here.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you.
Bottom 5 here at Lowell Park. 7-0 Cotuit. Jackson Glines will lead it off for the Kettleers. 2 for 2, a single, a double, and 3 RBIs. Also has a run scored that came back in the first. Glines, the center fielder from the University of Michigan, got the game-winning RBI in last night's ball game. A 2-out RBI single that scored 2 to give the Kettleers a 12-10 lead. Fastball high and away. First pitch from Nick Bates. Ball 1. Laprise behind the bag at third. Haggerty deep in the hole at short, as is Cole Fabio at second. 1-0 offering. Glines pops it. Deep left center field. Servance settles under it, ranges to his right, makes the catch. Glines retired. Nick Bates, after a rough start, has really settled down. Has only allowed 1 base runner in innings that he has started. He started the 3rd, started the 4th, and has started the 5th. The only base runner, a hit by pitch on a 3-0 count of Trace Barrera. Jake Fincher steps in. An RBI double. Back in the first, he also scored. First pitch swinging, pops it up. Fabio settles under it towards the second base bag. The second baseman from Bryant makes the catch. Quickly 2 gone. Brings up Jeremy J.T. Taylor. The left fielder from East Tennessee State steps in. 3rd consecutive start in left field. When Taylor's been starting, he's been playing a lot of designated hitter. First pitch from Bates, fastball on the outer corner, called for a strike 0-1. Laprise in on the grass at third. Bates winds, kicks, delivers the 0-1. Fastball misses low, count even at 1-1. We will have a Coca-Cola of Cape Cod scoreboard update for you in the top half of the 6th inning. Wind in the 1-1. Taylor loops it out into right center field. Servance dives, and he traps it. He throws it back into second base. Taylor broke late, and he's out. A nice throw from Kyle Servance. A single for Taylor, but he's forced out at second. on the outfield assist from the Houston center fielder. We've played 5. We'll see if Jeff Kinley goes out for inning number 6. 7-0 Katuitt. Keep it locked right here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast...
Donnie DeWeese leads it off here against Jeff Kinley. Top 6 here at Lowell Park. 7-0 Kettleers lead. Only 3 hits for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, 2 of them coming in the second. The only other hit coming in the third. First pitch swinging. DeWeese hits it out to right center field. Jake Fincher ranges to his right. He'll settle under it, make the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out. Donnie DeWeese is 0 for 3. Carl Wise will step to the plate. And we will now have one of our favorite segments of the ball game, yours and mine, our Coca-Cola of Cape Cod scoreboard update. First pitch on the way to Wise. He hits it on the ground to short. Holder picks it up, one hand, fires across in time. 2 pitches, 2 outs.
There's only one other game that has scoring going on, other 2 in action but are scoreless. Top of the 5th at Red Wilson Field, the YD Red Sox trail the Brewster Whitecaps 8-0. The bats keep on smoking for Brewster. They understand they have to win out pretty much to have any chance to top Chatham for that 4th and final playoff spot in the East.
First pitch on the way to John Laprise. Taking on the inside corner for a strike 0-1.
Bottom of the 1st at Doran Park in Bourne, Braves and Firebirds are scoreless.
0-1, breaking ball, misses low and away. Kinley scoreless through 5 2/3.
And finally, lights, camera, action. The Falmouth Commodores have lights back at Artie Allen Diamond.
1-1 fastball, misses high and in, 2-1 the count. That's a relief. No more 4:30 games.
Falmouth and Wareham underway just moments from now.
2-1 on the way. Laprise slices it foul down the left field line. It could be a possibility that Wareham, as a 2-2 count now on Laprise, is eliminated from the playoffs before they even start tonight's ball game.
In the last game that's in action tonight, Harwich at Chatham, a 7 p.m. start at Veterans Field.
2-2, Laprise loops it down the left field line. Taylor comes in and drops the ball. They say it's in fair territory. Laprise chugging around first. He cruises into second base. A 2-out. Not sure what it'll be ruled. Taylor gloved the ball, and they're going to rule it a hit. And Trace Barrera is arguing with Ali Bardoni that Taylor hit that ball in foul ground. Now, the rule states that if your feet are in fair territory, it does not matter where the ball drops. If it hits your glove, that's a fair ball. Moreover, if you're in foul ground, the ball hits your glove and drops in fair ground, I would assume that would be a foul ball. Well, not necessarily. The catch and carry rule is weird like that. Either way, it's a double. Laprise has 2 of the Harbor Hawks' 4 hits.
And now he's hit safely in 10 straight road games for Chad Gassman after that single back in the second inning.
Pitch on the way to Haggerty. Change up, misses low and in for ball 1. Haggerty walked and advanced to third back in the 4th. The shortstop from New Mexico made 2 of the Harbor Hawks' 4 errors last night. Kinley sets, delivers the 1-0. Fastball at the knees. Strike 1, count even at 1-1. Kinley sets it to letters, looks back at second at John Laprise. Fastball, misses high and away. Barrera out of the crouch. 2-1 the count. It's now time to look at our upcoming schedule. There's only 3 games left in the season. Only 1 more home game left after tonight, not including the playoffs. The playoffs are looming, though. 2-1 on the way. Haggerty pops it up. Shallow center field. Holder ranges to his left, the shortstop, and now Glines calls him off. Glines charges in to his right, makes the catch for out number 3. We'll get into that upcoming schedule in the bottom half. 5.5 done. And if Jeff Kinley is done, wow, oh wow. 6 innings, 4 hits, no runs. 7-0 Kettles as we head to the bottom of the 6th. Keep it locked right here.
Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored.
Nick Bates has been dominant since coming into the ball game in the middle of the second inning. Jordan Ebert, the second baseman from Auburn, leads it off for the Kettleers, his first at-bat of the ball game, subbing in for Drew Jackson. Bates kicks, delivers the first pitch to Ebert. Fastball at the knees, taken for a strike, 0-1. Ebert on the season, hitting at .273, 12 hits in 44 at-bats. 0-1 fastball, misses low and away, count to 1-1. And now it's time to preview our upcoming schedule. It's pretty simple, folks. A game against Basement Wareham tomorrow night at Spillane Field. Kettleers warm-up hits the air at 6:40. And then a home-and-home to finish the season against Falmouth. Breaking ball at the knees, taken for a strike. Ebert down to the count 1-2.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Yesterday's game, there was playoff implications all over the place.
Ebert pops up the 1-2. Carl Weiss charges in. Hauser goes back on it, settles under it, and he drops it again. David Hauser needs a hug, a nice home-cooked meal, something, because he's getting no love behind the plate today. 2 passed balls, and, well, that one did not technically touch his glove like the one that happened in the 4th on the Logan Taylor pop-up. An easy out that he clearly missed. 1-2 on Ebert, the count remains. Ebert slices it foul out of play to the right side. It's not like the Sun was really playing that much in terms of tricks with him, but just lost his balance once again.
Yeah, the same play happened against Logan Taylor in the bottom of the fourth to start the half inning.
1-2 the count on Ebert. Bates kicks, delivers the 1-2. Ebert on a line in the hole on the left side. Laprise ranges to his left. He can't get it. A leadoff single for Jordan Ebert.
Ebert did not see action in yesterday's game. Checks into this ball game late, and he's really struggled as of late, so good to see Jordan back in the lineup, getting a hit in his first at-bat. But we talked about this with Kat Smith, when you were on the broadcast with Fox Sports.
First pitch swinging, Brendan Hendricks, fastball low and in. 0-1 the count on the USFDH.
Kat was mentioning how the memories that she's been able to witness, especially last year with Cotuit winning the championship, comes to show Mike Roberts really does care about his players a lot. And she said this has been the most exciting she's seen in the last few years based on the way the season's gone.
0-1, breaking ball. Hits the inner paint for a strike, 0-2. It's always exciting when you have a team that has a lot of offense. And when your pitching gives up a lot of runs, though, that's what really keeps you on the edge of your seat. Bates sets at the neck, first base side of the rubber, swing and a miss. But fouled off. Hauser drops it. Count remains 0-2. Ebert leads from first. Carl Wise holds him on. 7-0 Cotuit. Kettleers have already amassed 10 hits tonight through their first 5+ innings. Ebert short lead. Fabio and Haggerty double play depth. 0-2, and it hits Brendan Hendricks in the right ankle. Third hit by pitch issued by Hyannis pitching. The second hit by pitch issued by Nick Bates. Order turns over for Logan Taylor, the third baseman from Texas A&M. Taylor on the ball game led off the affair for Cotuit with a triple. He then scored on Kyle Holder's single. Taylor, 1 for 3, waggles the bat. Ebert at second, Hendricks at first. Bates sets, looks back at Ebert. Taylor shows bunt, pulls back. Strike on the low outside corner. John Laprise, the third baseman, was charging. 0-1.
And the Kettleers, we've mentioned it throughout the entire broadcast, since the 4 runs in the first and 3 runs in the second, the only runs we've seen today, they need just one more run to tie up the season average.
Breaking ball, strike called, 0-2. The thing now that I'm thinking that the 8-run run differential is a possibility, I don't think the Kettleers, because last year when they won the Barnstable Patriot Cup, they ran on the field and celebrated. They may not even know if they win it, if they actually win it. 0-2 on the way. Taylor chops a foul in front of home plate. We'll do the 0-2 again. On the contrary, Hyannis might not even know that they win it because they figure they don't know what the rules are for a tie.
Oh, especially if they lose. They lose the ball game today, and if Cotuit doesn't score enough runs, well, that's an awkward situation. But if Hyannis can come back and win the game, well, clearly they realize 4-2 we win the series.
0-2 the count remains on Taylor. Righty matchup, Bates delivers. Check swing, appeal down. They say that Taylor goes around. Logan Taylor strikes out. 5th strikeout for Nick Bates. He's been rock solid.
I just want to mention Kat Smith, who was up in the booth. She just tweeted a moments ago, based on Patriot Cup tie breaks, this is a 1-run competition here at Lowell Park. So I'm not sure if she's saying Cotuit needs one more run to take the lead or if they need one more to tie. It is a tough number to have to figure out, considering the wins and losses could be even if the Kettleers win today. I don't know. What do you think? What was your tally?
I want to know who makes these rules.
No, the rule is what you said is correct. Run differential is what it comes down to first.
Holder slices it foul, out of play. All right, so let's do the math on this. Let's try and do the math on this. After the first 2 games of the season, Hyannis led Cotuit in runs 2-0. Then Hyannis led Cotuit in runs by 14. Katuitt gets 4 back. That's 10. They get 2 back last night. That's 8. Holder hits down the left center field gap. Servant on his horse, ranges to his right, makes the catch. Ebert thought about tagging, thought better of it. Holder 2 for 4. He's been retired in his last 2 at-bats. That brings up Trace Barrera.
So 8 is the total. Katuitt has scored 7 today. So now the least given up is still Hyannis by 1. So Katuitt would need 2 more runs, 1 to tie. The next tiebreaker, according to Cat, is least strikeouts. And then after that, it's a bat toss between the 2 managers, Mike Roberts and Chad Gassman.
So as in, like, they chuck a bat?
No, you ever play, is that pitch is a strike on the outside half to Barrera. Have you ever played wiffle ball? And
yeah.
They decide who gets to hit first? They do the old put the hands on the bat, and whoever's able to get it on top best and first wins.
0-1 the count to Trace Barrera. Got hit by a pitch back in the 4th. Bates sets, delivers the 0-1. Fastball, high outside corner for a strike. 0-2 on Barrera.
Sorry if I lost you there, but that would be kind of cool. I wouldn't be surprised if Mike Roberts said no.
Well, I think it would be kind of cool, actually.
Oh, I agree.
0-2 breaking ball misses away. Count to 1-2.
But again, considering the Kettleers, if they score another run, and let's say that stayed the same the rest of the game, and for some reason the least amount of strikeouts become even, do the managers even know about that at that point?
Bring him up, strike 3 called. Barrera looks at a fastball in the low outside corner. And boy, oh boy, here's Travis Duke and Luke Leftwich. This should be fun.
I feel extra comfortable now.
I don't even know if they know that this broadcast isn't even live. But anywho, we're through 6, 7-0 Kettles. We'll be back with the pitchers right after this.
Today's broadcast is brought in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
All right, welcome back to the Katuitt Kettleers game. I'm Travis Duke here with Luke Leftwich, sitting in to call this half inning. We have a new pitcher for the Kettleers, number 51, Jackson McClellan from Pepperdine University.
What a beautiful school.
It is a beautiful school. I heard it sits right up on a hill.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
Overlooking the ocean.
Little known fact, the Nickelodeon show from back in the day, Zoe 101, was filmed at Pepperdine.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding. That is the truth.
You just gave me a little nugget of childhood back. Love it. I love it.
And, man, I love childhood.
Oh, man. Speaking of childhood and shows, Zoe 101, Drake and Josh, Rocket Power, just about the best shows you could watch.
I don't think there is a better show than Rocket Power of all time.
Not at all. Not at all. Here we are about to start the top of the 7th. Again, McClellan takes over for Jeff Kinley, who threw 6 scoreless innings.
He had a great day today on the mound. Had great control of all of his pitches, and let's see if Jackson McClellan can keep up where Jeff Kinley left off.
All right. McClellan walks around the mound and steps up to begin the half inning. All right, up for the Harbor number 12, Fabio. First pitch, fastball up and in, swing and a miss, strike 1. 93 miles an hour on the gun for McClellan. He really amped that one up.
Yeah, he's feeling good today. You would think with a name like Fabio you would see some better hair.
That's a very true statement. Fastball on the outside corner, fouled off over the right field fence. 0-2. What kind of conditioner do you think Fabio uses for his hair? I've got my money on Garnier.
This Fabio or the Fabio?
The Fabio.
Ooh, I don't know. It's definitely not Head and Shoulders.
McClellan, fastball, inches off the outside corner, ball 1. 1-2.
Maybe some Suave.
Some Suave, maybe Head and Shoulders. That's C.J. Wilson's.
Ooh. He's got great hair, too.
Fastball on the outside corner at 91, fouled off behind the screen. Still 1-2.
Now, on the topic of hair, Jackson's hair is nice and flowing out of his hat tonight. I think he spent some time before the game curling it.
Very curly and wavy. I thought I saw him with curlers during batting practice.
You did.
Curveball in the dirt. Ball 2. Makes it 2-2 on Cole Fabio.
Beautiful night here at Lowell Park.
Beautiful night. Fastball in the outside corner. Ground ball to first base. Fisher handles it, flips it to first. Out number 1 here in the top of the 7th.
We in the business like to call that a PFP, pitcher's fielding practice, and he just executed that to perfection.
We work on that. We really work on that.
Yes, we do.
There's nothing better feeling as a pitcher than being able to field your position. Am I right?
Now you're just being rude because, folks, yesterday I made an error during the game. And Travis Duke is just trying to point that out.
I said that with the utmost respect, folks. Now up to bat for the Harbor Hawks, number 5, David Hauser from Tennessee. That's swing and a miss, strike 1, 94 on the gun.
Woo!
He is really firing it in there today.
That's some heat.
That is some, what we like to call Yeti biscuits. Winds up, delivers the pitch. Another fastball in, jams him, but it bloops over the first baseman's head for a base hit for Hauser. Runner on first, 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Very good pitch by McClellan.
Yeah, sometimes things just fall. That ball wasn't hit well, but in Hyannis's favor, it fell.
Might have hit that ball off of the tape on his bat, but it's just dropped in there right over Fisher's head for a base hit. That's baseball for you.
That is baseball.
Now up to bat, Kyle Servance from the University of Houston. McClellan stares in to get his sign. Comes set. Delivers the pitch. Fastball in the outside corner at 89, strike 1.
Great pitch. Not quite as hard as the other pitches, but a good spot.
Not quite as hard, but he also lived right there at the kneecaps, what you want to do as a pitcher.
Just where you want to be.
Delivers the next pitch. Fastball low and away at 90. That looked like it had a little bit of run on it.
Yeah, maybe he got around it a little bit. Two-seamed it out there.
Pronated that wrist a little bit, got on top of it.
Got real out front.
Yeah, pronated. That's a big word.
Pronation.
Vocabulary for the win. Picks off to first base. And he is safe by a mile. Servant steps in the box. Servant is a very good hitter from the University of Houston. We played them in our super regional. Fastball off the outside corner at 91. Ball 2. 2-1.
We were not as fortunate as you. We did not make it out of the conference tournament, but
hey, you live and you learn. That's how we were my freshman year. Started from the bottom. Fastball low and in at 91 miles an hour. Foul tip to the backstop by Servant. Strike 2. The count is 2-2.
Seems like the catcher was shaken up on the play, Trace Barrera.
Foul ball might have come off the bat and nicked him. It looks like on the left wrist.
He's a tough guy. He'll be all right.
He's gone through a lot worse this past year at Texas. He's a very tough guy. Battles through anything.
I've gotten to know that over the past month or so being with him. He's a very tough individual.
Very tough, very honest, very blunt individual.
Yes, he will tell it how it is, no matter what the situation.
Very good catcher to have. He's very honest, very open, and he will go through anything to make sure you're successful on the mound.
Yes, he will. I remember my first time throwing to him this summer. I was blown away. It was a lot better than most of the catchers I've ever thrown to. No offense to you guys.
There we glad you threw that in there. Glad you threw that in there at the very end. There was some offense being taken by our listeners. But now that you said no offense, there's no offense being taken. That made up for it all.
Should have let off with all due respect.
There, that sounds...
Then you could say anything.
That sounds so much more professional.
Wise words of Ricky Bobby.
Wise words. I don't know what to do with my hands. Close quote. Ricky Bobby.
Ricky James Bobby.
And Barrera elects to stay in the game. 2-2, 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Runner on first. Servant still at the plate. McClellan delivers the pitch. Fastball on the outside corner with a little run. Swing and a miss. Strike 3.
Another great pitch from McClellan.
Another great pitch. You know, you see in the last few fastballs, you've seen a dip in his velocity, but you've also seen an increase in his control.
Yes, that seems to be the case, and he's also gotten a little more run on it when he dropped down in velocity, which maybe he's trying to do that, and it looks good from here.
Absolutely. I'll take that 9 times out of 10. First pitch. Fastball off of Fisher's glove. Took a nasty hop. Runners on first and second now with 2 outs for the Harbor Hawks. Up to bat next for the Harbor Hawks, number 15, Daniel Kyle from Wichita State, the Shockers. Very interesting mascot name.
It is. I'm not quite sure what a Shocker is, but it's a...
I've seen their mascot through playing NCAA football and playing the mascot games. Very, very cool looking mascot, but like you said, I don't know what a Shocker is.
I don't know. I'm shocked.
That was very punny of you, Mr. Leftwich.
Thank you, sir.
McClellan delivers the pitch. Fastball at the outside corner, 91 miles an hour, strike 1.
He's just living at the knees right now, folks.
He is just living there. That's what you want to do as a pitcher. Not many off speeds for McClellan, but then again, there hasn't really been a need for him to.
Not any balls have been hit hard.
Fastball in the outside corner again at 91. Fly down the right field line in foul territory. Jake Fincher ventures over to make the grab to end the inning for the Kettleers. Well, I'm Travis Duke along here with Luke Leftwich signing off. We are the Cotuit Kettleers.
Believe in your dreams.
Believe. Capture the dream.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College. Located in Milton, Massachusetts, it offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College. Located in Milton, Massachusetts, it offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College. Located in Milton, Massachusetts, it offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College. Located in Milton, Massachusetts, it offers undergraduate and graduate degrees.
7-0. Kettleers lead as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Hope you enjoyed our substitute broadcasters, Travis Duke and Luke Leftwich. Since Duke's been injured, he's been up in the booth with us a lot, and Always a very entertaining interview, and honestly, I'd like to have him one day. I mean, we could have a 3-man booth. We'd switch it up 3 innings apiece. 3 for you, 3 for me, 3 for Dookie.
Hey, we can't forget Trey Wingenter. He was pretty good when his teammate from Auburn, Jordan Ebert, hit that grand slam. Wingenter was excited. Now, Duke did not get the chance to call an exciting play.
Here's an exciting play. Jamison Fisher hits it high and deep out into right center field. It goes to the gap and settles under the base of the fence. Jamison Fisher settles into second base with a leadoff stand-up double on the first pitch. Fisher 2 for 4 here on the ball game. Jamison Fisher has been struggling with some back issues. And there is a possibility that Fisher may be leaving the Kettleers tomorrow. So if that is the case, though, he certainly went out on a good note. 2 for 4, a single, a double, and an RBI.
And he's worked very hard, always the last guy to the ballpark due to therapy.
First pitch to Jackson Glines, fastball. Hits the high outside corner for a strike 0-1.
Fisher has attended physical therapy before every game, so he's always the last guy at the park, but for good measure. Nursing that back.
0-1 on the way to Glines. Fastball misses high and away. Count even at 1. Hey, guess what? I won the YD broadcast trivia question, which I found on Twitter, relating to David Price, the only other lefty from Vanderbilt in the major leagues, Mike Minor of Atlanta. I tweeted it during the break, and I won. What I win? I don't know, but I won.
I won.
1-1. Fastball misses away. Harwich broadcasters Andrew Scaglione and Mark Myers won that same contest, and their prize was a signed picture of Steve Goldberg and Anthony Santinello, the 2 YD broadcasters, which I thought was very entertaining. Apparently Andrew Scaglione has that picture hanging on his fridge at home.
Now, have you ever seen Vegas Vacation?
I have not. I heard it's very funny.
With Chevy Chase? Well, if you recall the final scene.
2-1 on the way to Glines. He loops it down the left field line. Keeley chasing. It drops fair. Fisher rounds third. He'll cruise into home. Glines into second base with a double. Jackson Glines' hot hitting continues. 4 RBIs, 3 for 4, a pair of doubles, back-to-back doubles, 8-0 Kettleers.
And the Barnstable Patriot Cup series is now tied. Both teams, well, check that, not yet. They're not tied just yet. The Kettleers need a win to even the series at 3 games apiece in the win column this year. The Kettleers scored the 8th run tonight, which means they are now tied with the least amount of runs allowed with Hyannis.
First pitch to Jake Fincher. Fastball misses away. 1-0 the count. Fincher doubled and scored in the first. Lined out to second in the second. Popped out to second in the 5th. A lot of possibilities. 1-0 to Fincher. Fastball. Strike on the high outside corner. Count even at 1-1. Laprise shifted over towards the third base bag. Fabio and Haggerty over towards the second base bag, guarding Jackson Glines. Bates in the stretch. First base side of the rubber, looks back at second, delivers Fincher a chopper in front of home plate. Bates gets out and grabs it, flips to first. Throw offline, but first base umpire Rob Wilson says that Fincher is out. He's retired 1-3. Brings up Jeremy Taylor.
According to Kat Smith, she says the next tiebreaker after run differential is team strikeouts in this series. Now, heading into today's game, the Kettleers have struck out 27 times against Hyannis.
Chad Gassman has made a call to the bullpen. Jackson Glines stands at third, 1 out. Kettleers lead 8-0 here at Lowell Park in Game 6 of the 2014 Barnstable Patriot Cup.
Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it.
Jeremy Taylor steps up against the new pitcher, the lefty from Florida State, number 13, Alec Bird. 8-0 Kettles with a runner on third with one out here in the bottom of the seventh.
Alec Bird from Florida State, 0-1 on the year with a 7.11 ERA. His ninth appearance, eighth out of the bullpen, 12 2/3 log this year, has allowed 10 earned runs, has walked 9 and struck out 10.
Bird, the lefty, sets at the letters, looks back at Jackson Glines at second. Correction, Glines is at second. I don't know why I thought he was at third. First pitch, Hauser throws down. Ball called. Glines back safely. 1-0. JT, 2 for 3. A pair of singles and an RBI. Taylor tried to stretch a single back in the fifth into 2, but was thrown out at second on a nice throw by Kyle Cervantz. Bird looks back. Lapree's in on the grass at third. 1-0. Fastball misses low and away. So, the next tiebreaker, after run differential, in which that would be tied at the moment, is strikeouts, and Hyannis leads in that category at the moment.
Hyannis has struck out 40 times. Cotuit has struck out 34 times offensively.
Taylor pops up the 2-0 pitch. Carl Wise settles under it, drifts to his right, makes the catch. Taylor retired. So as it stands, if this score holds, Hyannis still wins the Barnstable Patriot Cup.
No, Cotuit has struck out more Harbor Hawks than Harbor Hawks have struck out Kettleers. So Cotuit has struck out 40 Harbor Hawks. Hyannis has struck out 34 Kettleers. The least amount of strikeouts is the winner. So the Kettleers have struck out 6 less times than Hyannis. Cotuit would get the Patriot Cup.
It's too confusing anyway. First pitch to Jordan Ebert. Fastball taken on the inside corner for a strike, 0-1. I understand what you're trying to come from. I got mixed up. I thought you were saying in terms of, I just mixed up who you said had as many strikeouts. Hyannis had more today, so I figured that. Anyway, I went Space Cadet. Ebert on the ground is short. Haggerty picks it up, fires across in time, and that ends the inning. Kettleers score a run on a double by Jackson Glines, but do nothing else with it. 8-0 Cotuit. As we head to the top of the eighth, Brendan Glasheen to bring you home.
Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleears and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleears Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees.
3, 4, and 5 in the middle of the order come up for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. DeWeese, Wise, and Laprise. Against Jackson McClellan, the big right-hander from Pepperdine on the hill. Here in the top of the 8th, 8-0 Kettleears. First pitch fastball, pumps the glove at 91. Misses away for a ball, 1-0. Just past 7 o'clock at Lowell Park. The Kettleears, as of right now, have the tiebreaker lead for the Barnstable Patriot Cup trophy. 1-0 changeup, misses low and away. 2 balls and a strike. 2 balls, no strikes rather. Cotuit offensively, as Kleins fires. 2-0 pitch, hit to right center field. Fincher as well as Glines on the run. Jake's going to snag it in right center. No problem for out number 1. DeWeese retired for the 4th time today. The Kettleears offensively against Hyannis have only struck out 34 times. Hyannis offensively has struck out 40 times against the Kettleears. So, based on least amount of strikeouts, Cotuit wins because right now the runs are tied with Cotuit's 8 today. This fastball chopped out in front, picked up by McClellan down the third base line. Throw to first, offline. No chance, though, to get the runner, Carl Wise. He's safe at first, likely with an infield single. No chance, really, for McClellan. The ball died out on the grass.
That all changes, though, if Hyannis somehow scores a run here. Then the run differential barely in Hyannis' favor, and then they would be in position to take the cup.
That's right. You mentioned it. It was a 2-0 advantage through the first 2 games for Hyannis. Change-up misses away at 86. That increased to 12. Rather 14. 1-0 pitch. Fastball, outside corner to the left-handed hitter, John Laprise. I read about that, so 14-2 loss on June 24th. Would then make it 14 total in terms of run differential. Pitch, grounded foul. They get to it with 4 runs in an advantage, so that cuts it to 8. 2 more runs for the Kettleears last night over the Harbor Hawks. Cuts that to 6. Lots of numbers. 1-2 pitch from McClellan. Fastball away. You said it earlier in a very precise way. I'm not sure if you could do it again. And based on your look, it doesn't seem like it. Carl Wise at first. 1 out, 2-2 on John Laprise. Cotuit 8-0 lead on the Harbor Hawks. Tailed into the backstop foul. Still is 2-2.
Numbers are hard. You know what? We've studied journalism, broadcasting, artistic forms. That doesn't mean that we can't necessarily be able to do math, but I didn't go to college to be a stats or a math major. I know several people who are, but put them in front of a microphone, they would struggle.
2-2 pitch from Jackson McClellan, a fastball upstairs. It's frustrating me now. After the first 2 games, Hyannis allowed 2 less runs than the Kettleears. Advantage 9-7 for the first 2, the home and home, to start the season. Swung on and missed. Change-up, 89, inner half to get Laprise. He's retired for the 2nd time today, first time on strikes. 2 down for Sam Haggerty. You look at the next 2 games. Cotuit lost 14-2. So that's a 12-run differential. So Hyannis then, with 2 more runs, would make it 23-9. A 14-run advantage. Pitch, fastball, nub to the left side. It falls in, a base hit. Runners at first and second now with 2 outs. A base hit for Haggerty. His first hit tonight. Wise up to second base. First and second, 2 out. Here in the top of the 8th. 8-0 Kettleers. So at that total, it's 23-9. Cotuit then won the next game 6-2. So now the run total is at 25 Hyannis, 15 Cotuit. Right-handed hitter, Cole Fabio. New member takes a fastball upstairs and away. He's 0 for 2 in the ball game tonight, so it's 25-15. And in last night's game, Hyannis scored 12. Rather, Cotuit scored 12. Their total is up to 27. Pitch misses low and away. And with 10 last night for Hyannis, they're at 35. So the total is 35-27. Cotuit has scored 8 runs today to tie the run totals at 35 apiece. Now, Jackson McClellan just struck out another Harbor Hawk this half inning. So the Kettleers lead the second tiebreaker. Swing and a miss. 2-1 to Fabio. 41 strikeouts for Cotuit pitching to 34 strikeouts for Hyannis pitching. So unless the Harbor Hawks somehow strike out 7 Kettleers, or if the Harbor Hawks score here, Kettleers have the lead for the Barnstable Patriot Cup. Hope you got all that. 2-2 now the count.
There will be a test tomorrow. Make sure you bring your notepad and your number 2 pencil.
2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs on Cole Fabio. Right-handed hitter from Bryant. McClellan sets at the belt. 2-2 pitch. Fastball high, just above the shoulders. Rule the ball. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The runner should be off. So what all of I said just there does not matter when it comes to the strikeouts. If Hyannis gets a run right now, they have the advantage 36-35. 3-2 pitch. Cut on and hit into the backstop, foul. We'll see the payoff pitch again.
Could make some sort of Cape Cod Baseball League math workbook and give them to elementary school kids. This would definitely be a problem in it.
The funny thing is, the Barnstable Patriot Cup trophy is decided only between these 2 teams. It doesn't switch off. 3-2 again. Fabio nubs it out in front. It's hit off of him, so it's ruled a foul ball. 375th anniversary of the town of Barnstable. 1669 is when it originated. Mike Roberts and Chad Gassman, the managers on each side. Today, Cotuit pitching and offense has shown up. 8-0 Kettles, 2 down, 3-2 the count here in the bottom of the 8th. McClellan stares in, sets, at the belt. 3-2 on the way. Fastball popped up to the right side. It trails out of play. We'll see the payoff pitch again.
This town is so old, it's older than the government of the current United States itself.
Maybe even dinosaurs.
I don't think that old.
Here comes the 3-2 once again. Fastball hammered to center field. Glines trots back on the back pedal, makes the catch just in front of his chest for out number 3. We'll go to the home half of the 8th. The Patriot Cup trophy is in favor of the Kettleers. If this score holds, Cotuit 8, Hyannis 0 on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network, Barnstable Mashpee, Channel 99, and Channel 13 in Sandwich.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years.
Bottom of the 8th inning at Lowell Park. Kettleers come to bat to try and add to an 8-0 lead on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. If Cotuit plates a run in this half inning, they'll have the first tiebreaker for the Barnstable Patriot Cup. If not, they're still in the driver's seat. Have 7 less strikeouts offensively than Hyannis. Between runs, strikeouts, wins, these two teams not making it easy this year. First pitch on the way to Brendan Hendricks, the DH. Change-up call to strike. Bird remains in the game. Has pitched just 2/3 of an inning tonight. Winds and kicks the 0-1 from the left-hander. Change-up away. 1 ball and a strike.
The one thing we failed to overlook, or we have overlooked, in our analysis of this Barnstable Patriot Cup stuff.
1-1 pitch. Hendricks takes a strike at the knees. 1-2.
Is that a win for Cotuit tonight vaults them back into 3rd place in the Western Division standings.
That's right. Hyannis at 36 points, Cotuit at 35. A win puts them back ahead of the Harbor Hawks. 1-2. Hendricks half-hearted swing doesn't go completely around. It's a ball, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Falmouth and Bourne are both winning right now, so 1-2 as it stands would not change.
Bourne just a 1-game lead as this pitch is struck to the right side off the glove of Wise. He has no play to flip to Bird covering. So Hendricks on with the base hit. We'll see how they score it here. Hendricks did hit the ball hard. Wise did get out in front of it, but bobbled it. And it's ruled a base hit for Brendan Hendricks. First hit today for Brendan.
Possibly a generous call, but Chad Gassman has once again seen enough of Alec Bird, and this game is going to have the potential to get darked out, maybe, if this game goes any longer.
21 minutes past the 7 o'clock hour. The Kettleers lead the Harbor Hawks 8-0 on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. 4th pitcher entering the game for Hyannis. We'll have who it is next.
Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast...
Welcome back to Lowell Park. 8-0 Kettleers on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. A runner at first in Brendan Hendricks, a base hit. His first today. Cotuit now with 13 hits, 8 runs. Hyannis 8 hits, no runs to show in the final regular season matchup between the two clubs. New pitcher into the game for Hyannis is Ian Gabot.
Ian Gabot, the righty from Tulane, 1-2, a 6.57 ERA, 12 1/3 innings pitched, 11 hits, 10 runs, 9 of them earned, 6 walks, and 15 strikeouts.
enters with the runner at first base, nobody out. A fresh count coming to Logan Taylor. He's 1 for 4 in the game, has now hit safely in 16 of the last 17 games for Cotuit. Has also reached base safely in 20 straight ball games for the Kettleers. Batting on the right side with the white sleeve on his right arm as Logan waggles the bat. Cabot to the set. Pitch. Fastball up and in. Chin music on Logan Taylor. 1 ball, no strikes. Ian Cabot has pitched quite a bit against the Kettleers this season, making his 4th appearance against Cotuit in the 6th they've played this season. 1-0. Fastball upstairs and away to the right-handed hitter Logan Taylor. A righty-righty matchup. As the count sits at 2-0 on Logan Taylor. Hendricks a short lead at first base. Cabot sets by his right shoulder. Lifts the right leg, the pitch. Fastball, called a strike at 92. A put-me-over fastball, 2 balls and a strike on Logan Taylor.
One thing we also calculated during the break, a Kettleers win, and we're in.
Likely the 3 seed in the Western Division for the postseason. Fastball shot into the backstop. Goes foul. Hit something hard. Might be the Fox Sports setup just to the right of our broadcast booth. Again, if you're tuning into us right now, the Kettleers and Harbor Hawks are live on Fox Sports. That was earlier today. So that's why our stream is up late this afternoon. 2-2 pitch on the way to Taylor with the runner at first. Pitch. Fastball lifted to the left side off the glove of Haggerty. Play at second base in time because Hendricks froze on a line drive. Score at 6-4. Logan Taylor safe at first with a fielder's choice. Good bid by Haggerty over at short.
That's a smart play by Brendan Hendricks, though, to hold up because you don't know if that ball is going to get caught or not. Haggerty makes a great effort just to keep the ball in the infield, deflecting it off the tip of his glove and having it go straight downward.
So now there's 1 out for Kyle Holder. Had 2 hits in his first 2 at-bats. 0 for his last 2 with a strikeout and a flyout to center. First pitch on the way to the shortstop from San Diego. Lifts it down the left field line. It tails foul into the trees beyond the Kettleers bullpen. So you just mentioned it there. The Kettleers, with a win tonight, clinch a playoff spot in the Western Division. Unless Hyannis finds a way to score 9 in the top of the 9th, well, we'll tip our cap. Cabot, a long set. 0-1 pitch. Inside to Holder.
Here's the interesting part, though, about seeding. 2 of the Kettleers' last 3 games, in fact, their last 2 games, come against the Falmouth Commodores. If the Kettleers do well against Falmouth, they'll probably play Falmouth because they will be in the 3 seed, and Falmouth will fall far out of reach of the 1 seed, Bourne.
1-2, fastball slapped into the backstop foul. Right now, Falmouth leads Wareham 2-1 in the bottom of the 3rd at Arnie Allen Diamond. The game's finally back to a 6:30 start. The lights have been fixed. I'm not sure if Granite City Electric came through to fix them up, but somebody came to do the fixing.
Is that an East Coast Electric company? I've never heard of it.
Oh, yes, it is. Excuse me. 1-2. Holder swings through it. Change up, low and away in the dirt. Pops his bubble gum in disappointment. Holder's down on strikes for the 2nd time tonight. 2 down for Trace Barrera.
But you look at the way that things are progressing now with Falmouth only a game behind Bourne. Tonight's matchup, or tonight's games with Falmouth, Wareham, Bourne, and Orleans, be really critical to see if Bourne can somehow find a way to get even closer to clinching the number 1 spot.
First pitch on the way to Barrera. Swings through a fastball upstairs. A mighty swing by the catcher from Texas. 0-1 to Trace. Barrera has had a quiet day at the plate. Based on what I see here, besides Drew Jackson, who left the game back in the 6th, he's the only Kettleer without a hit. Based on the current lineup, as the fastball at 94 catches the outside half to the right-handed hitter, it's 1-1. Jordan Ebert took over back in the 5th inning defensively for the Kettleers. Singled in his first at-bat. Other than that, tonight, Greg, Barrera's the only one that's been held hitless. 1-1. Fastball knocked off the catcher. Hauser, he's okay though. Home plate umpire Mike Collier Make sure he's all right. Count 1-2 on Barrera.
Barrera has reached base twice, though, once on a walk, once on a hit by pitch.
Has scored a run tonight, 1 of 3 in the third, 4 in the first for the Kettleers, 2 back in the seventh. Could accomplish 2 big things tonight, a playoff spot and the Barnstable Patriot Cup trophy. Trying to add more here, 1-2. Barrera looks at a changeup upstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Trace. Sounded like a foghorn going off behind us. Barrera asked for time.
It sounded like a dying whale, almost.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the 8th. 8-0 Kettleers. Logan Taylor at first base. 2-2 on the way from Gibbo. Pitch fouled off the mask and into the backstop. We'll see the 2-2 pitch again. Jamison Fisher on deck. Could get another at-bat. Reports have come our way that this is Jamison Fisher's last game as a Kettleer. We mentioned earlier in the broadcast has been attending physical therapy to get his back looked at. Has arrived to games late. But not late that he's missed the game, but he's arrived late and has come later than most of the other players. So it could be Fisher's last ball game tonight here at Lowell Park. 2-2 to Barrera. Fastball swung on and missed. He yells in disbelief, swinging through that one. We've played 8 at Lowell Park. The Kettleers may go to a new arm. It's the Vulture. Clawing in from the left field line. Adam Witt tries to notch the Kettleers a playoff spot and the Barnstable Patriot Cup trophy in the top of the 9th. Don't want to miss it right here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College. Located in Milton, Massachusetts, it offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College. Located in Milton, Massachusetts, it offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it.
Cotuit is 1/2 inning away from clinching a playoff spot and taking another trip to the CCBL postseason as Adam Witt is on to close the deal in the 9th.
Adam Witt, with his statistical victory yesterday, is now tied with Justin Hakame of YD for wins with 5. Witt, a 1.08 ERA. This his 18th appearance. 33 and a third innings pitched, 19 hits, 5 runs, 4 of them earned, 12 walks, and 30 strikeouts.
Witt on to face 8, 9, and 1 of the Hyannis order. The Kettleers not only are in line to clinch a playoff spot, but also win the prestigious Barnstable Patriot Cup trophy. Cotuit with the win would even the season series with 3 wins apiece. The next tiebreaker in line is runs. Well, both teams have scored 35 this year with Cotuit's 8 today. The next tiebreaker is least strikeouts offensively. Cotuit has only struck out, based on last inning, they've struck out 35 times. Check that, 36 times. Hyannis has struck out 41 times. So Cotuit has a 5-spot lead. That obviously can't change because the Kettleers, with an 8-run lead, probably won't come back up to hit unless Hyannis piles on 8 runs. If they do that, they break the tiebreaker and runs. So everything's everywhere. 1-0 is a fastball at the knees. It's 1-1 on David Hauser. Catcher from Tennessee, 1 for 3. Singled in his last at bat in the 7th. A slight open stance batting from the right side. Adam Witt also a big open stance on the hill. Sets the 1-1. Fastball swung on and missed. Goes ways away from home plate. The right-handed hitter Hauser way off. And we mentioned off the broadcast moments ago, Adam Witt, it's an 8-run lead. Well, maybe Mike Roberts is aware of what's on the line. Sets behind his ear. 1-2 from Witt. Barely getting a piece is Hauser as it climbs into the backstop foul. Count still 1-2.
I think with Adam Witt coming into the game, Mike Roberts wants his reliable guy. Didn't throw a ton of pitches last night considering he went 2 innings, but with a submarine pitcher, you can use him on a daily basis.
1-2 pitch nubbed into the dirt, foul. Now, like we've mentioned, it doesn't really matter what Wareham is up to tonight, unless, of course, Hyannis comes back to win this game. Highly unlikely, but Adam Witt has to be one of your prestigious, also most valued arms for the Kettleers going into the postseason. His 1-2 pitch to Hauser. Change up away. And not to get ahead of ourselves, but if Cotuit does indeed win tonight, they will clinch that playoff spot. You have to feel somewhat confident based on the fact this pitching staff has finally pieced it together. With Jem Kinley's start today, 2-2 pitch. Nubbed again off the inner half of home plate. We'll see the 2-2 pitch once more.
And I'm calculating the days of rest. Tuesday would be the first playoff game, which would mean 4 days of rest, which would mean that Jeff Kinley would be in line to start game 1 of the postseason.
Other guys that have pitched well recently, Vince Fiore, left-handed pitcher from South Carolina. Those two have stood out as of late. 2-2 to Hauser. Fastball outside corner, strike 3 called. Hauser goes down on strikes for the second time today. First one via the look. Out number 1 in the 9th for Adam Witt. 8-0 Cotuit in the final frame. 13 hits on the board for the Kettleers. The 8 runs. Hyannis with 8 hits, but 0 runs to show for today's ball game. Kyle Servance, the center fielder from Houston, stands in on the left side. First pitch. Fastball, cut to the left. It's into the parking lot. Goes foul. 0-1.
I actually think a tiebreaker system that would be a lot easier than run differential or any of this is simple. If the series ties, whoever had it the first year has the right to retain it.
0-1. Change up, misses away. 1 ball, 1 strike. We have Axel Bawada, our director of video operations, saying, let him play another one. Let him play 7. Well, Axel, everyone has to play the same amount of games. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pitch. Nailed into the left side of the cage. Down the left field line, just by the Kettleers dugout. 1-2.
That's how the Ryder Cup works. The golf match between USA and Europe, that there's a possibility that you can tie in points, and basically, if you had the Ryder Cup, the previous Ryder Cup, if you tie, you keep it.
Infield straight away for the Kettleers. Fisher backed up significantly by first. Taylor in at the grass. Over third base. Strike 3 called. Adam Witt dominating a 76-mile-per-hour bender to strike out Servance. 2 down in the 9th inning. 8-0 Cotuit. And the Kettles are 1 out away from clinching a postseason berth in the Barnstable Patriot Cup trophy. Witt sets. Behind his ear, the pitch. Fastball, outside corner, called a strike. Small delay by home plate umpire Mike Collier. Dylan Boshears the batter. He's 2 for 4 with a double and a single. Each coming in the 3rd and 7th innings respectively. The right-hander Witt from Nevada sets. The 0-1, chopped slowly towards third. Taylor on the run, throw to first in time. The defending champion, Cape Cod Baseball League champion Kettleers head back to the postseason. with a win tonight over the Hyannis Harbor Hawks 8-0. And on top of that, the Kettles take home the 2014 Barnstable Patriot Cup trophy. 8-0, the final over the Harbor Hawks.
In the last 2 ball games, the Kettleers have scored 20 runs. Now, granted, Hyannis does not have the greatest pitching staff in the world. In fact, their pitching staff is the worst road pitching staff in the entire Cape Cod Baseball League. But still, the fact that after getting essentially whitewashed in your previous 3 games prior to last night, 3 runs in 29 innings, losing 4 in a row, then coming back against your long-time rival, Hyannis, and winning 2 games, one a 12-10 one, and tonight 8-0. This team's getting hot at the right time, and a lot of times in baseball, it's not who's the best going into the playoffs, it's who's the hottest. Cotuit hasn't been the best, but if they finish strong here against Wareham tomorrow and Falmouth on the weekend, they could be the hottest.
Jeff Kinley earns the win. We hope to have him on after the ball game tonight. Peter Fairbanks, the losing pitcher for Hyannis. Cotuit wins 8-0. Cat Smith is on the diamond right now to announce the Barnstable Patriot Cup winner. It is indeed the Kettleers. We'll have the announcement momentarily. Again, Cotuit wins 8-0. Greg, real quickly here, and we're going to see the announcement, so the players will have a delayed talk with Mike Roberts, but look at this. The team was 0-3. We're actually going to turn it to the field now to tune in to what Cat has to say here. There you have it. Cat Smith, the specific reporter for BarnstablePatriot.com. Kettleers are the 2014 Barnstable Patriot Cup champions. There's Jake Fincher and Brian Scott holding up the trophy. Coach Scott getting mobbed by the team, but quickly here before Greg goes down to grab Jeff Kinley, hopefully, for our conclusion of the broadcast. Cotuit lost the first 3 games of the season against Hyannis. The Harbor Hawks needed just 1 win to close this out. Cotuit lost 3 straight, 3-2, 6-5, and 14-2 against this club. The fact that they were ahead of them for so long in the division, it was only a matter of time Hyannis climbed out in front. They did, and then Cotuit took them right back with this win tonight.
Cotuit had the advantage, and I think it's really helpful, maybe helpful or hurtful. Neither of these teams played each other in over a month. The teams are slightly different. Hyannis essentially went in the tank after their last matchup with Cotuit back on June 27th, prior to last night's ball game. But you know what? You beat your longtime rival. You win the Barnstable Patriot Cup. It's a small victory, but it's one that the Kettleers will take, and one that puts them in the number 3 position in the Western Division at the moment.
Cotuit wins. Mike Roberts meeting with his players right now down the left field line. We hope to have, and look at Travis Duke. He's actually filming Mike Roberts. This is quite the scene. Well, we'll have more. Hopefully Jeff Kinley able to join us up in the booth. Kettleers win 8-0. They win by clinching a playoff spot and the Barnstable Patriot Cup trophy. Insider postgame show right now.
It's time for the Kettleers Insider postgame show on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. With a wrap on tonight's ball game, here's Brendan Glasheen and Greg Moraz.
Yes, sir. The Kettleers are going to the playoffs to try and protect their 2013 Cape League championship. They also took home the Barnstable Patriot Cup trophy on, yeah, you guessed it, strikeouts. The Kettleers and Harbor Hawks finished the season series tied at 3 wins apiece. The teams also each scored 35 runs in their wins and losses combined. The next tiebreaker was strikeouts. The Kettleers struck out 45 Harbor Hawks. The Harbor Hawks struck out 40 Kettleers. You do the math, the Kettleers win by 5 to get that total. So congratulations to the Kettleers on winning the Barnstable Patriot Cup this season. and the 75th anniversary of the town of Barnstable. Greg Moraz trying to fetch Jeff Kinley down the sideline here at Lowell Park. And Cotuit winners tonight, 8-0. Cotuit has now won 2 straight. They clinch a playoff spot, so frowny faces for Wareham, the 5th place team. They go down and will not make the playoffs for the 2nd straight year after winning the Cape League Championship in 2012. The other hopeful team, in which we'll have an update with in the Coca-Cola of Cape Cod scoreboard update, is the Brewster Whitecaps. They are winning right now against YD at Red Wilson Field, so the Whitecaps are hopeful. If Chatham loses out and they win out, they'll get the 5th spot. If Brewster can't come through, it will be the 3rd straight year they missed the postseason. And it would be the 2nd straight year, based on those comments made just there, it would be the 2nd straight year in which the same 2 teams that missed the playoffs last year miss it this year. Brewster and Wareham. So that's no guarantee just yet. Based on how Chatham does tonight, they win, they're in. But the Kettleers win tonight 8-0. Jeff Kinley gets the win in 6 innings of work, allowed 4 hits, no runs, walked 2, and struck out 3. Also want to apologize to our fan base, if you're still tuned in late tonight, that this game was broadcast live on Fox Sports College. And with that means our game via video was locked out. So Cotuit does win tonight. They've won 2 in a row since dropping a tough one and lost 4 straight to the Bourne Braves. And now we're waiting for Jeff Kinley to join us up in the booth. Lots of reaction on the sidelines. Of course, 2 major feats today for the Kettles, a Patriot Cup trophy and a playoff berth. A wild day in the world of baseball when you consider the Kettleers and the Major League Baseball trading deadline. A lot went down in the closing minutes at 4 o'clock today. So once we have Jeff Kinley up here, we'll break down the rest of it. Kinley should be up momentarily again. Kettleers win 8-0 over Hyannis. Playoff spot clinched. Barnstable Patriot Cup in 2014 also clinched. Up next, we'll have Jeff Kinley. Kettleers win tonight 8-0 over the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Sorry for that short delay. Greg Moraz shortly coming up with Jeff Kinley, tonight's winning pitcher. Kinley was very good for Cotuit in his 2nd collegiate start. Considering this is not a actual college game, Kinley has been terrific since being a starter. 2nd start this year, he's gone 11 innings total, has allowed just 1 earned run in 11 innings of starting with Cotuit. Entered this year with 22 innings in relief. And of course the last 2 starts have gone smoothly for the left-hander from Michigan State. He is our star Kettleer. He'll join us momentarily. The Kettleers also clinched a playoff spot tonight with the victory over Hyannis. And with the win over Hyannis, they finished the season series even at 3 games apiece. And via tiebreakers, the Kettleers have won the Barnstable Patriot Cup trophy, pulling a 3-0 comeback on us. They started the year 0-3 against this club, a 3-2 loss on opening night in Hyannis at McKeon Park, a 6-5 loss here at Lowell Park in the 2013 defense game, if you will. Cotuit lost on June 24th here at Lowell Park, 14-2. And all Hyannis had to do in the next couple of games was get a win, and they couldn't do it. The Kettleers closed the season series with 3 wins. And now up in the booth to join us, Jeff Kinley, tonight's star Kettleer. Got the win in 6 innings pitched. Has been a starter for just, feels like, only a week. But, Jeff, you get the opportunity to start your 2nd straight game. I mean, it looks like you've been doing this for a long time, man.
Yeah. No, it's been about 4 years. Last start was in high school, I think. But no, I haven't thrown that many pitches in a while.
Now, Jeff, you had some blood clots in your left arm your junior season. That's what gave you the medical red shirt. But you would figure that an injury like that, you haven't really pitched many 1+ inning outings in your time at school in your senior year. Well, your 4th year. Now will be your 5th year upcoming.
Yep.
Are you comfortable going out and throwing 5+ innings like you have your last 2 appearances?
Yeah. I mean, it's nothing really too overly much. But no, it was in my right arm, so that didn't really affect me that much. But no, I feel like my arm strength's back and everything prior from the injury. So, yep.
I feel like I don't feel great for not realizing. It just said it was in your arm. It didn't say which arm. I just assumed it was your pitching arm.
Yeah, no, right arm.
Kettleers win tonight 8-0 over the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Jeff Kinley, the winning pitcher, went 6 innings. So now in 11 innings as a starter, you've allowed just 1 earned run. Is that something that you could see yourself at Michigan State, maybe, coming as a starter?
Yeah, you never know. We do have a few starters coming back. I know the coaches might have thought of me being a starter, but we'll see in the fall. I'll talk to them about it, tell them about it, so we'll see.
Now, when you're most effective, it's when you're getting good movement on your fastball, and when you get good movement on your fastball, you're able to locate your breaking stuff effectively. You were seemingly doing that tonight. What does it take for you to be able to get premium movement on all your pitches?
Yeah, just like Coach Roberts tells us, stay behind the baseball, go north to south. So yeah, I kind of try to do that, get my fingers on top of the ball, and that creates a little movement there.
Now, based on yesterday's game, a 12-10 final for you guys, had to go to a couple of arms out of the pen. How important was it for you personally to go out and give a solid outing of 6 innings to really rest the pen? Yeah,
it was good to rest the bullpen up for the next 3 games left. So yeah, it was nice to give them a little break, a little day off, and hopefully they'll be ready for the next 3 games.
Well, Jeff, I think that's all we got for you. Go enjoy the win with your teammates and the Barnstable Patriot Cup. Have you had a chance to take a picture with Travis Duke and the trophy?
I have not yet. I'm about to right now.
Well, go ahead and do that. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, Jeff Kinley joining us after the game. He's the star Kettleer, and he's also tonight's winning pitcher for Cotuit. Final score 8-0. The Kettleers take down the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Greg, I've been almost punching a dead horse up here, but you get 2 wins in one night, in one game. You clinch the Barnstable Patriot Cup trophy, and you're going to the playoffs. This team, of course, trying to defend the 2013 Cape League title. Now, based on these next 3 games, the Kettleers could still be a 4 seed. However, if they take care of business in these next couple of games, Cotuit will likely be the 3 seed, and if Falmouth keeps it up against Bourne, who knows how that goes, that would become a Falmouth advantage, rather a tied Western Division. But the Kettleers close the season against Wareham at Spillane Field Friday, and then a weekend series against the Commodores. It's really up to the Kettleers if you think about it.
Well, now you also have to look at the other home and homes. Hyannis will play Falmouth tomorrow, while the Kettleers play Wareham. So Hyannis now is 3 points behind Cotuit, or rather, I'm sorry, a point behind Cotuit for 3rd place. Kettleers end with a home and home against Falmouth. Hyannis ends with a home and home. The only outer division home and home in the final weekend of the season. They end with the YD Red Sox. So that's going to be a very interesting battle. And YD in a tight battle for first place in their division with Harwich and Orleans. But you got to go and do your job if you're Cotuit. Wareham will send Anthony Kay tomorrow. The Kettleers will send Nick Eichholtz. Try and get 3 wins in a row and try and get what would only be your 2nd win of the year over the Wareham Gatemen. And I think tomorrow's game is critical. Keep the momentum rolling and try and put yourself in a premium position to lock up the 3 seed.
The Gatemen can no longer catch the Kettleers for the final playoff spot. Cotuit locks it up with a win tonight, 8-0. Finally, to take us home, our Coca-Cola of Cape Cod scoreboard update.
Brewster, beating up on YD 14-3, bottom of the ninth at Red Wilson Field in Yarmouth. So YD going to fall for the second straight night, but Brewster resting on their laurels that maybe Harwich can come back and beat the Chatham Anglers. Brewster is now 5 points behind Chatham for fourth place in the standings. So while the Wareham Gatemen have been eliminated, the Brewster Whitecaps are still alive. The battle for first place in the Western Division continues, but right now it looks like nothing will change. Top of the seventh at Doran Park, Bourne leads Orleans 4-0. Bottom of the fourth at Arnie Allen Diamond, Falmouth leads Wareham 3-1. So if those scores hold, Bourne will keep their one-game lead over Falmouth in the Western Division standings. And the other game, no score, Veterans Field and Chatham, Harwich and Chatham tied at nothing. Kettleers, a 7 o'clock start tomorrow night against the now eliminated Wareham Gatemen.
August baseball is upon us. Tomorrow night, the Kettleers are at Spillane Field in Wareham, as Cotuit clinches a playoff spot tonight and also wins the 2014 Barnstable Patriot Cup Trophy. Signing off from Lowell Park. And also, a happy 22nd birthday to my broadcast partner, Greg Moraz. I'm Brendan Glasheen. Final tonight, Cotuit 8, Hyannis 0. The season series ends in a tie, but Cotuit pulls out the Barnstable Patriot Cup, and they're going to the postseason to try and defend the 2013 Cape League title. We'll hopefully see you tomorrow night at Spillane Field in Wareham. Good night from Lowell Park.
Thanks for tuning in to the Kettleers Insider Postgame Show on the Cape